again to the GPVWC Super League in what will be our last race before the summer break. Actually, we are here at virtual Spa for the Belgian Super League Grand Prix. I'm Joshua Anderson and I'll be dragging you through the action here live as it unfolds, and I'm joined by Mr. Kacper Kolodziejczyk in the comments box.
Well, hello.
And we also have the fantastic Mr. Ben Willis on cameras.
Hello.
So, yes, we have started slightly earlier than usual today, and there's a very good reason for it, because we have a lot of things to talk about. And by a lot of things, I mean literally two. Because, well, I like to over-exaggerate things sometimes. So, first of all, and just to get this out of the way, you may have remembered the whole Michael Francorchamps thing from Hungary. It has been decided today by the GPVWC management that no actual in-race penalty was to take place for that. But they have been fined £1.5 million. Now, of course, they haven't actually been fined £1.5 million. It's Superleague currency, which is, we use pound sterling as a virtual currency, so they've been fined £1.5 million of those, but they do have the right to appeal. We are thinking they will do, but this is probably going to hinder development.
It very much will be. And although Adonis is one of the best cars on the grid, and that will definitely hurt them.
Yeah, it's not going to help them for certain.
No, it definitely won't, and of course, now I should probably look at the standings and all, but if I recall correctly, Francorchamps is still attempting to chase down the leader? Is that the case?
Yeah, Michael Francorchamps is still in a fairly good position, championship standings-wise. We'll get to the championship standings in a bit, but just to move on to the second piece of news, rather, is that the disciplinary committee have actually revised the track limits for Eau Rouge this race. It's relatively major because they've added a white line exemption for the inside left-hand turn of Eau Rouge. Ben Willis is actually one of our heads of DC, so he's probably better qualified to talk us through what exactly has changed, Ben.
So the top of the hill at Eau Rouge on the inside apex is free of white line exceptions. We're finding a lot of people driving the Super League cars were struggling with dirty air following cars, and especially on worn tyres. They were sort of understeering over the curb, so we felt it would be unfair to continually penalise them for cutting when they really couldn't do much about it. So only that part of the track is exempt, otherwise usual track limit rules apply.
Yep, it's not often that track limit exemption rules are brought in, but sometimes they are the necessary thing, aren't they, Kacper? Because otherwise you'll just have tons of penalties.
Yes, of course. I think personally that track limits need to be very strict in many respects, just because otherwise the drivers will abuse them to no end, and I know that from experience.
Yeah, there can be a pain sometimes, track limits, but they have to be adhered to, is the thing. And if you don't adhere them, you'll find yourself with many penalties and points on your licence. So it's always a good thing to adhere to your track limits. But yeah, especially here at Spa, which is such a demanding circuit. We actually have time to go some track statistics for you if you would like. The modern circuit, of course, is just over 7 kilometres, with the brand new bus stop, of course, which was introduced in 2007. And it is, well, it's a bit of a classic track. It was a lot longer in the past, as we know, but been shortened, and it's a very famous track. And Spa, it's one of those tracks which it's iconic. Spa, isn't it?
It's iconic is it's the right word. It's such a massive track, such a well-known track, famous. There's so much history to it, and maybe shorter, but still essentially one of the longest tracks there is that's still used, except for the Nordschleife and La Sarre. But I think this must be one of the longest tracks outside of those two.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of the longest tracks in Formula 1 history, Spa-Francorchamps, especially in its old format, and I think it is actually the longest track on the calendar. So yeah, it is the longest track on the calendar, which is why there are only 44 laps, because it is 7 kilometres. It is a very long circuit. It used to be like 15 kilometres in its olden days. Of course, yeah. It's got nothing on the likes of the Pescara circuit and Rhein Dure and the old Avis, which were proper long circuits. But you know what? I think there's a need for more long circuits in Formula 1, stuff like this. But it's one of those things, isn't it? Sometimes where long tracks and short tracks go hand in hand. But Spa is one of the longer ones and a big challenge.
It is a challenging track, and honestly, I personally think that 5 to 6.5 kilometers, or 5 to 6 kilometers, is generally the golden kind of length of a track personally, but that's me. And yeah, the interesting thing about Spa-Francorchamps is it's got its name because of it actually went through the towns Spa and Francorchamps. So that's actually why the name. So that, of course, it's not anymore, but the name is kept.
Yeah, there's been a lot of track name changes, but Spa's always kept his. We've got Mosport, which is down the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. You've got loads of tracks which you've seen name changes over the years, but Spa-Francorchamps has remained a mainstay, and it'll probably be around where Eros Mashuli will want to do well. He's actually dropped down now to 3rd position in the driver's standings, and he wants to become a mainstay in the top 2, possibly even take the championship lead again. I'll go for the standings now because we have time. David Feid currently leads the Drivers' Championship on 168 points, just 7 points ahead of Philip Pushka now. He has taken the last 2 race wins at Germany and Hungary and is in 2nd place with 161 points, and just 2 points behind him is Mashuli, who missed the first race of the season but is now on 159 points, having already taken 2 wins this season. Michael Francesconi, his teammate, is in 134 points and 4th place. Then it's Emmanuel Gagzella for Storm Racing, really finding his feet in R32, and 118 points and a race win this season. Really got to prove that. Lewis Redshaw's missed 1 race this season, but still finds himself having a fantastic season for Woods Racing. He's on 106 points in 6th place. Florian Geyer is 7th on 101, and it's Windorgus Columbus 8th on 87 with a race win. And then Rudy Van Buren, who actually left the season halfway through what we've already done with 2 race wins, is on 59 points. Probably going to be overtaken soon by Bart DeVos in 10th. But then again, Bart has not done the last 2 races either. So Daniel Brewer, if he can get some good points, stands a chance in 11th. Adrian McNaughton 12th. Gergo Baldy 13th. And I'll only go up to the top 15. So Tom Parker 14th. And Alex P15. So, obviously a lot of drivers in this who have been in and out of the series. Some not really driving anymore. But those top 8, between them, have only missed 4 races.
Yeah, there's always that big part of racing in a series where if you miss any race, you always lose so much. So you always want to attend as many races as you can, and that's what gets you the points.
Yeah, it is. It's, you got to be there, and it explains really why they are up there, because they're always here, they're always relatively consistent. And the gap to Van Buren from Columbus is 28 points. So there you go. And then obviously there's a bit of a chasm between the top 8 and the rest, but we are at the halfway point of the season now, and realistically, it could still go 3, 4, 5 ways. As the session now has ended, I think it's probably going to be Michael Francesconi posting the fastest lap time this session on a 1:49.896. That will set the benchmark for what other people want to be doing in later sessions of this event, so to speak. I was going to call it a weekend there, but it's more of an event, as the final couple of drivers just round out their laps and prepare themselves for the qualifying session that's about to come ahead of them.
Yeah, the qualifying should be very interesting. At the moment it looks like Francesconi has this quiet set, but we can't really say until we get proper laps and people actually push for the qualifying laps, because we don't really know the strategy in practice.
Yeah, it's pretty much just a case of go as fast as you can, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what will happen in qualifying, and we're just going to have to wait and see. I guess Francesconi would prefer Mashuli to be in front, but...
well, the less said about that, the better, I think.
Yeah.
So, obviously, we've got this session to come, and we have started a bit earlier, so we are going to get the whole of qualifying, and we can talk about it as it goes, and obviously discuss that. It's just a bit of an experiment we're doing, and obviously, if it goes down well, if you like, we're starting sooner, we might continue through the rest of the season. Because, well, more of us is better, and more of me is always better, because I've got the most entertaining voice in the world, said no one ever.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that went down about as flat as a punctured tire.
Oh well, jokes always do.
Yeah, Chris Williamson just talking to drivers through a couple of things to note for this qualifying session. It's not usually that he does tell them a couple of things to note, but when it is, it's important. So obviously, drivers will need to be aware of everything, which is why we're taking this a little bit longer to ensure that all information has been passed on to the drivers before we start the session. And, well, obviously we've got the Eau Rouge cutting exemption there, which is going on, so drivers can do what they like at Eau Rouge pretty much, within reason. And,
Well,
just-
they can. They do have designated zone which they can cut through. It's a very reasonable zone, and it's mostly just because the corner is so blind, and these cars just have very little control for that corner. So it's mostly just a safety concern.
yeah, mostly safety rather than anything, and safety first. Racing second, as some people might say. I say some people because I don't know who. But just mentioning that the exit detection on the pit lane, Chris Williamson, as you're saying to the drivers, is a bit forwards here. So you can get caught out if you're first in line. I actually got disqualified from a pit lane start once because the pit line detection was a bit forward, and that was my own fault for not realising. So at least the drivers here are aware of it, and obviously usual track limits don't apply at Eau Rouge on the left-hand curve at the top of the hill. So that is the couple of things that they will want to note for this race, as you probably already heard 62 times from me. And obviously usual rules will apply everywhere else for the drivers, as they will prepare themselves to set the fastest lap time they can, as just wishing everybody good luck, as Chris Williamson does. Wouldn't be able to do any of this without Chris, so quick shout out to him. Thanks obviously for all the work you do. Understand you're a very busy person, and obviously you take a lot of time out of your life to help us out. But right now, it is about time that we got this show on the road proper, as we have just moved into qualifying.
Kacper, of course, gets the first one in line.
So here we are in qualifying then, and it is probably going to be Filip Puška first out of the pits here as we start the session, and just waiting for the timer to decrease to 15 minutes, and away we go. Qualifying is underway here at Spa-Francorchamps. It is going to be Filip Puška first out on the field to do a qualifying lap, and he will be the first one to set a lap at this rate if he stays where he is. And he'll be the benchmark. The world's champion will be the benchmark. And you can't really ask for a better benchmark than that.
No, he always to have a first driver to be this quick. It's always a good benchmark, as you said, for yourself, and just you know exactly where you have to be at the start. Although, who knows? He's not the most reliable of qualifiers, but as anyone isn't, as no one is. Sorry.
Well, I say that, but Fran Lopez has just overtaken him, so now Fran Lopez is going to be the benchmark for Red Archer, and, well, the Spaniard we know has very good pace. Fran Lopez is up there with the best of them pace-wise, but in the past, his racecraft has been a bit of an issue. Hopefully he's sorted that out then, and we can see him really knuckle down in the race and get a good result, because he deserves one. He certainly does.
Oh, Red Archer. Hopefully they can finally score pretty good points, but again, it's down to consistency, isn't it? It's always down to that one element, and if you cannot do it as a driver, then you're never going to score points.
Yeah, you've got to get the racecraft element down of it before you can do anything, and, well, anything of any, if you can get it going at the end, keep your race well. Fran, I think, has improved as he's driven. Everyone improves, and I think Fran has come on a lot since a couple of years ago, but he is certainly a good driver, and he deserves a good result. Filip Puška just has a look, and then, oh dear, well, that's not what we want to see. Puška's actually come straight back in again, just tapped Lopez a bit. But Fran Lopez will be the first person to complete a lap in this session.
Possibly Puška with damage after that contact, and just doesn't want to risk it.
Well, he's come back into the pits, he's going to come back out again, and, he's going to obviously get a second crack at it, but he'll have lap traffic to deal with, and it's not going to be good in the terms of getting the car up the scratch thing. Fran Lopez will be the first one to set a lap, and he will set the benchmark for the other drivers to compete against.
He will be followed by both Adonis cars, so we're definitely going to see some of the best times right after.
Followed directly by the likes of Francesconi and, Masciuli. Obviously going out together to judge each other's pace and the likes. Fran Lopez at the moment is just coming round up to Brussels, the right-hand 180-degree turn.
In single seaters, it's always a bit of a danger to come out with your teammate, and that's because obviously you get the aero draft, you get the draft, and you get the aero pushed in corners. So if you get too close, you're just going to lose time. It's not like something like a WTCC or any touring car or anything like that where you can actually gain through that method.
Yeah, it's a bit of a
risk reward.
Your risk reward scenario. That's what I was looking for. Found me words at last. Fran Lopez finding his way through Stabilo 2 as he comes around there now. Down through the Coupeful Fray, round into Blanchimont. I'm hoping we can go on board with him, actually, because this is a very fast sweeping corner. Iconic corner indeed. He comes through Blanchimont now, round into the bus stop. The revised bus stop, of course. It used to be different, but now it's a right-left. The final chicane in the second, and Fran Lopez comes round there to cross the start-finish line. He is going to set a 1 minute 50.677. So that is the benchmark. And Michael Francesconi is going to be next. What's he going to do? He's going to cross the line. And he doesn't actually go quicker, but Ellis Masciudi does. 150.3 is new provisional pole. And Maguire a 152. And Ben Horrell a 152.3. Roy Shorten a 152.8. We are seeing the lap times coming thick and fast. Niels Brugman sets a 153.665. And then, we've got Tobias Olsen on a 153.1 for Hawkeye. That is a good lap time so far. Adam Maguire, 152 dead. Obviously, Tom Parker, 151.8. Ben Horrell, 152.3. So all within that 150 to 153 mark so far as his time still to come in.
As David Fider goes second.
Yep, and Florian Gaia goes pole now, 150.3.
Sorry.
Again, he has just pipped Masciuli there, but both Nolchen cars there within not much of each other. I suspect they'll be quite strong this round if this pace is anything to go by.
Yeah, they look very, very strong. So we're just going to have to wait and see and hope for the best for them. Also, that time by Fran Lopez was absolutely amazing now that we look at it. So far, at the very least.
He is 0.3 of Florian Gaia, and he's driving a Red Archer, which supposedly isn't being developed as much anymore, if at all.
That is very, very impressive.
I saw an article came out saying Red Archer was stopping development on the car, and he's going to cease it soon. So, in a car that's potentially not being developed, that is an astonishing time.
And especially on a track that would require so much actual engine power and such a good downforce package as well, to be honest, because of such fast corners. You
talk about engine power, they do have a Valiant unit in the back of that.
Oh,
we'll come to that later, but they do have a fantastic engine in there. That's helping them for certain, as Lopez is going to come into the pits now, actually, so he will not do a lap. Both Adonis cars have come in as well. So is it going to be a case of one and done for most teams? And then come out again?
I think the track is so long that will be the case. You can only do about one lap before your tires just don't have the pace anymore.
Yeah. Lewis Rexhaw is on a 150.9 at the moment in that Woods, which again, not the best car in the field, not the best engine in the field, but his sheer talent is propelling him that far up. He's doing a fantastic job for the team, and he comes as well. So unfortunately, it's not going to be a case of do one lap, come in, do another lap, come in, do another lap, come in. It's going to get pretty repetitive.
Yeah, it always is in that kind of a situation, but then again, it's how these cars are, and in reality, with my Formula 1 cars also having the tires being very, very heat sensitive, it's just the way that they have to be.
I think Adam Maguire has actually stayed out, so he's not doing one and done. He is absolutely staying out. He is on a 152 dead now. I think he was before as well. Although nobody else can actually come in. This is his out lap, so sorry about that. Yeah, actually, it seems to be the norm.
Mentioning Adam Maguire, if you look at it, Emmanuel Gazzella is on an exactly same time as Adam Maguire.
We've seen that a couple of times this season where there's two drivers actually do the exact same time.
So I guess then our factor
by virtue of Gazzella doing his lap time first, he will get the position before Maguire, as Morten Verneson has just joined the lobby for Hawkeye Racing. He will obviously set about going on his qualifying laps now. Gaia still on pole though. Then again, not many people are on a current lap. Everyone else is on their out lap at the moment because they've come back into the pits and are starting again.
Actually, saying that about setting the time first, I don't think that's the case in R-Factor 2, actually. If I recall correctly, we only see up to a thousandth of a second, but I think R-Factor 2 actually calculates to a 10,000th of a second or more.
So there really isn't much in it between Gazzella and Maguire, if anything.
No, not at all. If
Gazzella set his times first, then he will have got it if it was the exact same. But if he's only about 4 10,000ths ahead, then that might be why.
Of course, yes. Also, Fran Lopez is on his fast lap once more.
Yeah, Lopez on a fast lap once more. As he starts, you'll see the DRS open if you are looking at Fran Lopez. But obviously, if we're not looking at Fran Lopez, he won't see it because the car isn't there.
He does not
I'm
improve
tempted
for
to
first
keep an
sector.
eye throughout this session on David Friedek because that is not a bad time so far.
No, it's not bad, but it is not his own record. So we're just going to have to. And it's a bit off from some drivers like Francorchamps.
Oh, Lopez just clouts the wall there, and is that going to be him coming into the pits again, or is he just going to do a tyre preservation run? Because obviously we've seen you get one lap.
I'd say if there's damage and if that lap is cancelled, he should come in and try another one. Considering there's no real point to try another one now with a damaged car.
Yeah, I think Mendoza's Columbus is looking strong as well on a 151.1. That is not far off Gaia's pace. So realistically then, if Lopez is coming round Stavolo 2 and he is not going to go faster, our best bet is to look at Eros Michuli. Because he is coming round into that campus complex and he's not that far behind now.
Francisconi is on quite a quick lap. He's doing personal best in the first two sectors. But Eros Mashuli actually just done the best out of anyone in this middle sector. So you're right. Watch him.
Apparently he's a 10th up. So, well, I am looking at the live timing myself. Purple sector 2 for Mashuli. That is indeed. And he got a PB sector 1. Bit of a drift going through the bus stop. This could be a potential pole for Eros. As he comes round to the start finish, and it is.
That is a provisional
just
pole.
Misses out on a sub 50 as well. He goes 150.009 something. It says 0.010 in R factor, but it is a 009 on the live timing.
Must be something like 0.0095.
Yeah, something like that. Mind you, new personal best lap for Francisconi as well.
As we're talking, also.
Oh, look at this.
Columbus just did the best middle sector of anyone.
Best, purple. Mendoza's Columbus could be worth a serious look here as he comes through at the bus stop. He's 3/10 up. Mindy could go pole. This could be serious stuff from Columbus. What's he going to do? Coming around the final corner. We're going to see a sub 50 lap time for Mendoza's Columbus here. We're not. We are not. And why is that? He's gone up to 6th. His final sector wasn't good enough.
No, I think his first sector was also a bit off. It was about 2/10, 3/10 off from Eros. So I think if he can just improve that first sector and the last sector, he could be there in contention for top spots.
Yeah, he has not got a good enough first sector out of all this. Third sector, and that's probably what's hurt his last time. But 6th place is not bad. But it begs the question, are we going to see the elusive sub 50 lap time? We saw it in practice from Francisconi. Are we going to see it in qualifying?
I think
Pushka is yet to set a lap in this session, though, is the thing. But he's coming out now.
He just exits the pits right now, indeed. And I think the people that we will be looking for sub 50 laps will be Masciuli, Francisconi, and Pushka, in my personal opinion. And possibly Geyer.
Well, a couple of people on personal best first sectors. Adrian McNaughton has just gone faster than Masciuli's last sector, mind. So, not the best, but he set a personal best as McNaughton. Niels Bruckman has set a personal best. So, improvements on the cards, certainly. From these drivers, we have about 3 minutes left to go in this session.
That's about a time for someone to do about one lap now if they come out. So, this is going to be the final.
Out goes Eros, indeed.
I think the drivers will be going out for last attempts in just a minute.
A last attempt, so to speak, yep. People will want one more crack at it, one more crack at the whip, as they have one more flying lap to complete.
Someone just blocked the entry to the pit lane. One of the Red Archer cars.
One of the Red Archers has just blown their engine going into the pits. Is that?
No, they blocked the entry to the pits.
Blocked the entry, right. Well, it's probably then, it is probably not Fran Lopez.
No, it wasn't. It was the other Red Archer, which is...
Daniel
Benefield.
Oh yes, Benefield. Thankfully he did clear it pretty quickly, but it did block a couple of drivers, which could have affected the next qualifying laps.
Yeah, he did block the pit lane and all. That was bad. I think, that was not good. So we've got 1 minute 57, so final qualifying runs will be probably coming in from drivers now. Philip Pushka starting a lap.
Geyer is on a lap, and he has done the first sector that's not his personal best, but it is even better than Arrow still. So we're just going to have to wait and see if he can maybe match the middle sector.
Well, I have to say, Pushka really who we want to be watching, because he has not set a proper lap so far this session. And, well, he is the world champion. He is the benchmark to beat all benchmarks. And it's going to be a case of, what can he do? He's got a very long 8th gear, it has to be said.
He could be possibly just setting himself up for being able to overtake, which we have seen yesterday in Super Cup that cars just
yeah, he's only used it. 7th is pretty much he's topping out, and then he's going into 8th for a little bit. So what is Pushka's first little sector there? It is a personal best of 31.5, and that is what Fighting has just done.
As Florian Geyer actually improves, has a personal best in the middle sector as well, so now just waiting for...
David Fidick, speaking of it, purple sector 2. Not a personal best sector 1, but a purple sector 2.
But that first sector is still very, very quick. It's about as quick as arrows.
Final corner, that will be David Fidick coming into it. Round he comes into the bus stop. Could this be an improvement? He really almost bounces over the curb there, but he's going to have a crack at it with 30 seconds left in the session. What's he got? Seconds! Not enough to topple Mishuli, but he gives it a go. He gives it a go when he tries, and that's all we're going to ask for as time begins to elapse in this session now. Fran Lopez up to 5th now. Where, though, is Philip Pushka? He is coming round into the bus stop. He has set a purple sector 2, a green sector 1. Round the final corner. Is this pole for the German? It's not, but only by 100th of a second. And that is devastating for him because he's so close to it.
It's such a close battle. On track, in championship, in qualifying. Let's see. This is going to be absolutely fascinating on the start of the race.
It is, yes, new PB sectors from Fran Lopez and Columbus. They have both set personal best. But time has elapsed in the session, so anyone not on a lap won't be able to do one.
I would not count Arrows from actually improving on his lap either. He has done a personal best in sector 1. Personal best
sector 1, I see there, and he's going to come around into the second sector as well, so we'll see what he's doing when he comes through there. It's not for a while yet, but he has set a personal best sector 1. That is not a bad time at all. What's his sector 2 going to be as he comes round?
It's personal best again.
A personal best sector 2. It could be an improvement. It could be an improvement. He's got to have a good third sector. He can't mess this up. But this could be a sub 450 lap. Are we going to see it from Eros Mishuli? As he comes round into the bus stop chicane, it's pretty much secured pole position at this point, you would think. But as he comes round, what is his lap time going to be? Is it going to get squiggly? Is he going to improve? No, and I think that final corner did it.
Must have been. It was actually quite a slow last sector, I guess, for him. And although it was still a very, very quick last sector, and the lap was still only 5/100ths of a second slower.
Niels Brugman is on a noteworthy time. Personal best improvements for both. I doubt he's going to take pole, but it's worth seeing where he winds up. Niels Brugman, as he comes around the bus stop himself, probably going to be one of the last ones to complete a lap. And what's his lap time going to be? An improvement, but no position change. And I think that rounds it out pretty much.
Yeah, we had Gagzella actually improved by about half a second, but that still didn't change the position either.
So confirmation then, Eros Mishuli takes pole position here by just 100th of a second from Philip Pushka. 0.013 back, the German. Excruciatingly close. David Fidick in 3rd. Florian Geyer 4th. As I said, very strong result from Nordstrom here. Michael Francesconi in P5. Fran Lopez 6th for Red Archer. That is astonishing in itself, considering that Mindaugas Columbus isn't that far behind in 7th. Daniel Brewer 8th. Lewis Redjaw 9th, and Anne Maguire rounds out your top 10. And Emmanuel Gagzella 11th. 12th Horrell. 13th is Benefield. 14th is Parker. 15th is Roy Schroten, 16th Adrian McNaughton, 17th Tobias Olsen, 18th Niels Brugman, 19th is Dawei Tapper with Morten Verneson and Devidas Mizulis not setting lap times.
So I've got the top 3 in the standings, in the top 3 spots on the the starting positions. So that's very interesting. And the person in 4th is on actually the top 5. Is actually, or no, actually, never mind. Geyer has taken this place of Gagzella. Never mind. But yeah, top three. I think it could be very interesting, and if the race was ever to finish as it is right now, the three drivers would be incredibly close in the standings.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal qualifying session, and we've covered it in its entirety as well, so you get to see everything. As I think we've got a couple more people watching now, but you've missed qualifying. You've just tuned in. Where have you been? It was a really cool session.
Very close up the front.
You've missed out. You've missed out on loads of fun stuff. Errol's been surely taking pole for one. So, yeah.
Apparently, Fran Lopez is saying that he had 3/10 in a pocket somewhere, so he could have gone faster, but
he just didn't find it.
I think it was that possibly just a sector or something just didn't come together for him. Unluckily, but still a very good job from Fran Lopez to be so up high.
I'll tell you why Dividas may not have taken a lap. He has a back of the grid penalty to serve.
So it basically wouldn't matter anyway.
It wouldn't have mattered anyway, so there was no point. You can serve a back of the grid by not serving a lap.
It is still a penalty, no, even if you applied it to yourself. Honestly, personally, I would actually go out and do a couple laps anyway, just to get yourself even a bit more comfortable and just not to get a bit rusty in 20 minutes, but that's my personal view of the situation.
Yep, indeed. Well, they do have 9 minutes in this warm-up to affirm themselves with what is going on and stuff like that and prepare themselves for the race, and I tell you what, we do have time now in warm-up, because we do this in warm-up, for our little segment that we like to do called the Super League Technical Chat, although that's not its official name. It's a working title. It's a working title. And I would be very, very pleased to, in fact I am going to be very pleased, it's not I would be, I will be very pleased to introduce for our little talk, Mr. Mike Pittman.
Hi, Josh.
Indeed, hello, and yep, you're here. Yep, you are here for the Super League technical chat. Obviously, we've had a bit of controversy recently, but we're not going to talk about that. We're here to talk technical stuff. So, Spa, long track, high-speed sections, power's going to be important here.
Yeah, it is. It's not quite as important, we'll find at the next round in Monza.
Yeah, Monza is an absolute... Monza is key for power, isn't it?
Yeah, you've seen quite a lot of teams here have brought new power units, or ones that have only done one race. Interestingly, that Nords have used engines, whereas like ourselves, for example, have brand new engines in both cars. So it makes a bit of a difference, I suppose. I think the big movers from a technical aspect this time around has been Red Archer. Even though they said they weren't developing, then they come to this round with a brand new package.
Well, there must have been a change in the plans there then.
Yeah, something along the lines. They've changed the management structure somewhere, so they've obviously decided that they'll bring some, and it's all what you want as well as its weight and downforce. So they've caught up quite a considerable margin from where they were, and obviously they've got people like Fran back in the car. So I think that's why we've seen sort of the improvement there, as well as our engines, of course.
Yeah, I mean, looking at their upgrades, which you can actually access this chart for yourself from the GPVWC website. I myself am going to put the link to that in the chat you can't put URLs in, so I'm not going to do that. But you can go to the GPVWC main website, click on the Super League section under competitions, and click development to see this graph for yourself. But Red Archer now, their car is 99 on the front downforce and 96 on the rear, which through Eau Rouge is going to be seriously important, because more downforce is going to be important, but you've got to balance that out with the drag, obviously.
Yeah, of course, but I mean, from where they were, that's a massive upgrade. It pulls them from a car perspective from being, whereas a couple of weeks ago we were talking about them in the bottom 4 or 5 of the cars on the grid. They're now pulling up into the realms of Storm and that sort of area.
They've already on overall points have surpassed Storm and Woods. They're now on 6 points and just behind Kernow in that sense. But obviously, it's more upgrades as well. It's not just about upgrading everything equally. You've got to upgrade some things more importantly sometimes.
Yeah, of course, and they are pretty close anyway, so it's going to be really interesting. The whole field is closing up, because even the top guys, although we still see, Adonis, Fudborn, Nordchen up the top there, there's not as much of a gap anymore, and small errors, particularly around this track, like you said already, how long it is, and there's so many areas that you can make mistakes, and it costs you a little bit of time. We've already seen Philip in qualifying there with a few having to do a last gasp effort, I suppose, to get it on the grid. It puts my heart in my mouth anyway, but it's good for the viewers, I suppose.
Yeah, it always makes it a spectacle when you got a very close qualifying session, and obviously we talk about the cars, we talk about how obviously the development points on those stack up, obviously with the Vortable car being the most powerful overall by far, yet still competing with the Adonis and Nords gens. It does show, obviously you can have the most development points, but it's how you apply those that matters.
Yeah, and you get to the limit on the areas that you know improve you more. So we're now talking very, very small gains. We're at the stage now where we're looking at car-wise. You're at the stage where actually the development points are probably more worthwhile in 2017 now than the gain you make this year, even though we're in a title battle. So I'm not saying we're not upgrading at all. But we're trying. It's not anywhere near what we were doing earlier in the season, and you'll see all the cars at the top will be doing the same, I'd imagine. It's just, and then it allows the teams behind, if they want to, the Kernos, the Woods, to catch up. Red Archer, and it'll really bring the field much, much closer together. Every race, sort of now to the end, I suppose.
Yeah, of course, it's not just the cars itself that get developed, the engines get developed of all manufacturers. Martex, Valiant, Potentia and Trinity all bringing upgrades to this event, and obviously looking at the development graph, we see, much like we've seen for the rest of the season, although it is a bit closer now, I remember it being, Potentia and Trinity have both obviously gone for fuel consumption and mapping upgrades, as has been the norm for them, while the Valiant and Martex teams brands have both obviously been developing power as well as fuel consumption and mapping. So obviously your engine, the Valiant, is most, in terms of base power, it is by quite a margin the most powerful, but obviously looking at the fuel consumption and boost mapping for Potential Trinity, that is going to help them catch up. So obviously they'll be using higher boost settings because they can use that, and you might be looking for more fuel saving because you've gone for base power, and obviously the fuel consumption to add on to that. But obviously with the engine mapping they've done, they'll have to go fuel consumption as well.
Yeah, the fuel consumption, the actual brake horsepower doesn't affect the fuel consumption, it's only the boost. So that's kind of where we've looked at the balance of it, going, we don't have to build as much fuel consumption into the car if we don't have as much boost, but we do have a lot more power. So that's where the build came in there. It's interesting that they're still developing. I think you'll probably find most of the engine manufacturers will probably only be able to afford, from a development point of view now, probably only one more decent upgrade between now and the end of the year. Everyone seems to have brought their Part C, the last race or this race. There might be something coming up, because obviously we've got the big break after this one, our summer break, but doesn't mean the teams stop developing. So whereas before we'd normally see teams not being able to bring a development from one race to the next as well, so you can't develop the same area because there's not enough time in between. This time there will be, so people that brought upgrades to here can still bring the same upgrades if they wanted to Monza as well. So that's where this makes a bit of difference as well, compared to any other race during the season.
Yeah, it makes a bit of a difference. Every little difference can make a big difference in the end, and obviously you've got the likes of the engines doing that, the cars doing that, and the units themselves that have been over. Obviously Nordstrom Racing bringing in worn engines to this race, as is the number 4 car of the Adonis team. That is, in fact, I believe that is Mishuli's car, isn't it, number 4? It is. So the pole sitter is using an engine that is actually already only got 68% life left in it.
That's even more impressive for him to actually be able to get that kind of position then, and that kind of time.
Well, it shows how good the Valiant engine is in the end, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does show that, obviously they use the same engine as us, and by improving the brake horsepower, that's, as we were saying previously, when you have a used engine to us, it knocks our brake horsepower down. But obviously, Potentia and Trinity haven't developed brake horsepower, so even an engine that's been used 3 or 4 races is still more brake horsepower than a brand new Potentia or Trinity.
Yeah, so you've got that advantage, haven't you? You can always, in terms of longer life, use the horsepower upgrades to get yourself that base upgrade, which doesn't affect fuel consumption, giving you more all-around power, and sometimes all-around power is exactly what you need. Obviously, for a track like Monza, you'd want to focus on boost.
Well, all power. Depends how you look at it.
As long as you get more power in the car, it's a good thing.
Of course. What we're here for.
Yeah, it's ultimately it's what it's for at the end of the day, isn't it? And well, it has been another enlightening Super League technical chat. Thank you so very much for joining us, Mr. Mike Pittman. Good luck to you and the rest of your team.
Thank you for having me, and have a great broadcast.
I'm sure we will. And well, he's done it again, hasn't he, Kacper? He's opened my minds to the fantastic world that is Super League development.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Again, the whole engine situation is also very interesting. And the Red Archer, now that they came back and did some development, that's kind of surprising to me, considering they have said that they are essentially stopping.
Yeah, so surprising that Red Archer did decide to bring development upgrades to this race, despite initially saying they weren't going to. So all of a sudden, Red Archer are developing. That might explain Fran Lopez's better position.
Either way, that's still very impressive for Red Archer
yeah,
to
still
be up there.
very impressive. Back to potentially good ways for the team, certainly. They've not had the best of seasons so far, and it would be nice to see them get back up there. As Mr. Chris Williamson, our race director, just tells the drivers to prepare themselves for 44 laps of Spa brilliance. That's not exactly verbatim what he said, but he's just telling them to get ready and move to the race in a moment.
It always, and I've said that yesterday as well, it always is very interesting to see that few laps on a race that's going to be this long, just on the basis that the lap is so long, and well, time-wise and distance-wise.
Indeed, yep. And, well, it is going to be an interesting one. We've had some great racing throughout the Spa here so far, through Formula Challenge and Super Cup. I doubt that's going to change here. I think we're going to have another cracking race. Spa is always one of those races where drivers get severely punished because it's the tough circuit. And, well, tyre strategy and slips, tyre slip and whatever is going to come into it affects here. Just Chris Williamson telling drivers to take extreme care in the first turn through Eau Rouge into lap 1. We saw a major incident in Super Cup the other day because of potentially that. So, got to make sure you're careful through Eau Rouge in the first turn. It is a tricky one to get right and easy to get wrong. So, I'm just being told to take care of the drivers as we are going to go to this race session very shortly. And obviously, I'm not going to have problems with my timing this time because I'm actually going to be able to lead it in. And right on cue, our Factor Man bellows out once more because it is now time for the race. So here we go then, 44 laps of Belgian chocolatey goodness without the chocolate in the form of Super League. It is going to be a spectacular race, I'm pretty certain of that. So, here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. It will be Eros Michuli leading us off on pole position for the Belgian Grand Prix. One of many pole positions the Italian has taken this season, and I'm sure it won't be his last. He will take this pole, though, for Adonis and start first. Reigning Drivers' Champion Philip Pushka is not far behind for Vodbull Racing. He's in P2. Then it is a Nordstrom second row lockout for 2014 Drivers' Champion David Friedrich, also current championship leader, and his teammate Florian Gaia will start from position number 4. Michael Francesconi will start P5 for Adonis Engineering and a very good showing for the Dutch squad. Then it's Fran Lopez in a super show for Red Archer VRT. The Spaniard will most certainly, lo and behold, be going for a top 5, you would think, this race. Row 4 consists of Mindaugas Columbus making the move a while ago to Vodbull and impressing ever since. He starts 7th. Then the ever-present Daniel Brewer, another great qualifying for Kernel Sports in P8. Lewis Redshaw will start 9th for Woods Racing, what has been a fantastic season for the Englishman. And Adam Maguire 10th in the other Kernel, so a great result from the Cornish outfit in qualifying at least. Emmanuel Gaxella, former Formula Challenge Drivers Champion, starts 11th for Storm Racing Team, and he is joined in row 6 by Ben Horrell in the Green Stripes racing car. Daniel Benefield, Fran Lopez's teammate, will start P13, good result for the Australian, and Tom Parker 14th for Green Stripes on row 7. Roy Schroten, P15 in the other Woods car, then Adrian Norton follows him in the other Storm entry, then it's Tobias Olsen in the first for the Hawkeyes in P17, and that's a good-ish result for the Swede, who is in technically the worst car in the field. So that is going to be a race for him Niels Brugman is in P18 for Wouters Automotive, new for 2016 as an engine supplier because they have taken the development of the potential engine. Now it's Tapper P19 for Nijo Racing, and row 10 is locked out in the end, or finalised by Morten Venison in the Hawkeye. David Mazulis will start the race from last place in P21, and the drivers are actually being told to close the gaps.
They're actually quite far apart from each other, an entire straight from about Blanchimont to the corner coming out onto the straight. So it's quite a distance. Also, that's Benefield stopped on track and into the pits. Oh no, what's happened there?
Well, Daniel Benefield, evidently a couple of problems already. He will now start this race from pit lane, well, the Australian, so effectively a free position for everyone behind him. Maybe he's had some sort of technical issue, but regardless, drivers forming up. Who's your pick for the win?
Did he forget to possibly put in the fuel? That would be an
potentially, but he's gone back into the pits again. But race win pick, Kacper?
Let's see. Mashuli would be my pick, to be honest.
I am going to go for David Feidick. I've got faith. I always seem to go for David Feidick these days. He's got to win again sometime. He's got to get a win. Come on, David. As we lights go on, we have 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and here it's for Francorchamps. We are off and away. Daniel Benefield, of course, starting from the pit lane, but it's a good enough start from Mashuli. Pushka finally gets overtaken by his own teammate going into the source. 10-1, bit of contact between the cars, but Feidick gets out alright. A couple of people going wide. Geyer is one of them. He jumps with his car, crashes out the back out of Eau Rouge, going into Eau Rouge, sorry. Through there,
Francesconi.
Crash going on. Francesconi involved. That is not good for him. Luckily, everyone has got it going again. That looked like there was debris, though.
It was
that is not a good start.
Yeah, it was Francesconi, Geyer, and Lopez that crashed, and they just bound together in our Factor 2 fashion. All 3 of them out of last source and just all went into the wall. That was very unlucky.
Fran Lopez to have been involved in incident at the start there is not what he wanted after such a good qualifying. He'll have to fight his way back up the field. No! Bit of contact down in P14 between Mazulis and McNaughton. McNaughton almost going round but holds it, and Francesconi immediately starts to climb back up into the points. He goes down to P15. Back at the front though, it's Mashuli, Pushka, Feidick, Renshaw, Gazella, Maguire. These all battles going on. A huge train from 8th, and there's a spin. There's a problem. Fran Lopez nearly got involved again, and Daniel Benefield is up in the P15 in the points after a start from the pit lane and all this. That is a fantastic start from the Australian. But this Mashuli Pushka battle is looking red hot so far. There is not much in it at all between the two. The Italian who wants to win the championship and the man who is currently champion. Obviously, we've got the likes behind as well on the trains, but coming through into Blanchimont now. What's going to happen here? I don't think Philip Pushka is close enough to do anything just yet, and it's a while until DRS comes into effect, so he will need to do something. Gets a little bit raggedy out of Blanchimont, but closes in the bus stop chicane. But coming around the final turns, it is going to be Eros Mashuli leads Philip Pushka, leads David Feidick, leads Lewis Rachel, leads Gagzella, Maguire, Columbus, Parker, Brewer, Schroden are your top 10.
Very interesting is that if this was to, again, continue like this until the end, which is very far away from now, this is actually a battle for the lead in championship at this very moment.
Technically it is, yes, because Mashuli and Pushka are not that far away from each other, remember?
No,
the gap
2 points.
between the two of them is just 2 points.
And Mashuli is only 9 points behind Feidick, and he has more wins under his belt, which would mean that he would be in front of David if they were tied on points.
Indeed, that would be the case, and obviously that means every single point makes a difference in a situation like this. And well, Philip doesn't seem to be closing the gap too much at the moment, unfortunately, which is not going to be good for him.
Not very much so, no, but it's a very early on in the race, and they will be definitely taking it easy. It's a very long race. It doesn't seem like it when you see the lap number, but it is a very, very long race.
As we got someone in the pits, and well, yeah, Francesconi has been in the pits in all this, and yeah, people setting faster lap times. I'm going to leave you to commentate on that for a bit, Kacper, because well, it's time for my customary break.
Ah, of course. So let's. Yes, the Pushka seems still to be a good bit behind, 0.6 of a second, and just doesn't seem to be changing at all. And at the moment, thankfully, it's all a bit calm, but we see a lot of drivers being extremely close to each other, especially from about From about, is it 6th place down to... Oh my god, there's an actual proper train happening for 12th place. Tobias Olsen is being attacked by Brugman into Blanchimont. Is he going to try and move right after into the bus stop? But now McNaughton goes a bit wide behind them, and none of this ends up coming through. But that train is absolutely massive, and there's a contact between the two behind him. Benefield and Michuli, or not Michuli, sorry, Michulis, did have a bit of a contact on the braking, so hopefully there's not too much damage right there. But with all that happening, we have our first retirement of the race. Morten Wernersten has actually been retired with an accident. That's his problem, according to our Factor 2. And luckily I cannot see the problem that happened there. So that is our first retirement of the race, and back to the battle. We're still very, very close, with Tobias Olsen definitely trying to hold off Brugman, although it just appears that Brugman does not have the speed on the straight to overtake Olsen even with DRS. It appears like DRS this race is not as effective as one would hope if they're behind another driver. And while the gap in front is extending still, as a side note to all of that, and it's now 0.8 of a second. But Brugman is still attempting to fend off from Lopez now, who has a much better exit out of... oh dear, if I could... Oh, Puon, there we go, yes, thank you. But unluckily, he just did not have space on the exit to be able to overtake Brugman, or at least go side by side. And Brugman is just trying to hold on to Olsen, but it just seems like Lopez just has a bit better exits, although he seems to be running a bit wide out of the corners. As Lopez goes side by side with Brugman on the inside of Blanchimont, he doesn't even have to get to Blanchimont, he already has this. So that is Fran Lopez going into 13th place, going a bit wide in that corner into Blanchimont, but he's now going to attempt to possibly overtake Olsen, as Brugman had to fend from a not a Red Archer, sorry, from... yeah, the Red Archer of Dan Benefield. Jeez, this is not going very well for Brugman. But now Lopez on the very back of Olsen, as Olsen has a bit of a squarely exit out of La Source. Lopez does have an extremely good run up to Rouge, but not good enough, as Olsen runs extremely, cuts the corner quite a bit on top of Eau Rouge, as Lopez just easily, even before DRS, just has the top speed to overtake Olsen, and does it before Lacombe. That's a very good, actually that's a very good speed from Lopez in the Red Archer. Very, very good, well done. And from here on, Benefield is actually in front of Brugman, which means that there must have been another overtake, as we've seen those two battle. This is not going very well for Brugman, who, of course, is a race winner from yesterday, so shows quite a bit of a bit less confidence in this car than he did yesterday. For all that happening, there seems to be two drivers that are a bit, actually 3 drivers that are also quite a bit close in the front. According to the live timing, it seems they were quite close earlier. But Emmanuel Gazzella in 5th, 6th Maguire, and in 7th Columbus just seem to be very close to each other. And whenever one makes a mistake, it could very much end up in a battle once again. But with a difference of about 0.2 on one of the splits, it definitely looks like they could be fighting for that place, as Gazzella makes a bit of a mistake into the bus stop chicane. Actually, speaking of people being close, Pushka, oh my god, Pushka has ended up actually closing up to Masciuli and being right on the back end of Masciuli. Oh my god, this is a... Battles are starting to form up everywhere, and seems like Pushka will be challenging for the lead now. Seems like he finally found a bit more speed, or Eros possibly lost a bit of his. So it very much looks like possibly there's going to be a challenge for the race lead, and of course later on championship standings, championship lead really. But at this stage, it is very difficult to overtake in certain parts of this track, and those parts would be Sector 2 especially, where most of the corners are extremely quick. And of course, with these cars being so high downforce, trailing behind someone, it actually means that there's a lot of dirty air and just does not allow you to follow nearly as close as you would like to be able to attack. Although dirty air is an upgrade in these cars and possibly has quite a bit of an effect if you do have that upgraded. But Pushka being very close to the back end of Masciuli, going into the straight before Blanchimont. This could be very interesting, coming through Blanchimont and possibly into the final chicane. But it seems like Pushka may not just have the speed. Just is not able to hold onto his speed through Blanchimont. Does not, again, the dirty air just pushing him to the outside, but they are very close still, and back to front. The first DRS zone is right on the first straight, which will definitely help Pushka to hopefully close up to Masciuli in his case. But they are again so very close, and Pushka is going to attempt to possibly go for Eau Rouge and hopefully keeps as close as he can and have a bit more top speed in the end, as he cuts quite a bit through Eau Rouge, which is allowed as far as we know. And he is very close to Masciuli. He is going to try on the outside possibly, but no, he decides better of it, just backs off a bit. On the outside it's extremely difficult to overtake into Lacombe. So he thinks better of it, helps to possibly keep closer for the next time, and hopefully being able to be just this little bit closer and with a little bit more speed and possibly overtaking him before Lacombe. The last timing beam has actually shown a difference of 0.15 of a second, which is absolutely nothing. There's a battle for P15 between Adrian McNaughton and Niels Brookman. Brookman just does not seem to have a very good day still, as I was saying earlier. He is dropping down, but Niels Brookman just may have a bit of a go, as McNaughton has a bit of a slide through the corner with no name, going through Puwan. Brookman seems to have a bit of a tighter line, just a bit more grip possibly than that McNaughton number 75 car of Storm Racing. But behind them is Masciulis, who will definitely be looking at a possible attack whenever one of them makes a mistake and possibly slows the other one down, or just Niels Brookman would not be able to keep up anymore. But Masciulis seems to be closer to Brookman now than Brookman is to McNaughton. As Masciulis actually is very close, very quick through Blanchimont, but not able to keep that speed through all the way around. As he closes down on the braking a lot, just on the very back of Brookman again, possibly is going to try one of the DRS moves, and with a bit of a draft. As we have another battle going for P6, seemingly. Adam Maguire and Columbus, sorry, are actually fairly close, although there is a bit of a gap there. There is still a battle as Maguire makes a mistake and does touch the wall, goes sideways onto the track. Hopefully no one is going to take him out. No, thankfully they're avoiding him safely. But that's Maguire making a mistake out of Lacombe and is now down to 10th place. That is not what you want to do, and hopefully he's not going to have too much damage from that contact with the wall. What seems like his car, at the very least, is going straight with his steering wheel straight. But he now is seeing Lopez trying to challenge him, which could very much happen, although that car now doesn't seem to be a bad car at all, and Red Archer, of course, is not the best car in the grid. Although, with the new upgrades. So, very unlucky for Maguire, but he has just, it's a very long race, it's only 14% complete, 6 laps complete, so there's still a long way to go, but Lopez has a bit of a better exit, and is going to be on the inside for Blanchimont. If he can just keep it up, and if he can just keep the speed going, which he can, he's in front already. He is going to be in front at Blanchimont, very well done, kept inside the lines at all times. And now Maguire has another driver diving in for the bus stop chicane. And Maguire pits in, so he decides that it's better of it and possibly have a bit of an undercut. So this is the first of the scheduled pit stops as far as I can see. So, well, scheduled, it seems like a bit forced by a mistake. But that was him losing a lot of places, and that battle between Roy Schoten was it was a very, very heavy braking very late. I did not see that attack coming at all. And the battle for 13th place is on. McNaughton just goes around Olsen like as if Olsen wasn't there. Into like, I guess that is if you have quite a bit better engine in that car, do you? No, that's actually a Valiant engine, so I'm surprised it's probably just the car having a lot more drag. Of course, it is the worst car on the grid, so I wouldn't be surprised that that's happening. Or at least developed, I shall say. Which kind of could show a bit that the engine is not everything. The car still has to be in top-notch performance to be quick on a straight line. As Michulis just tries to get on the Olsen's inside as well. And there's contact between the two. Michulis goes into the wall and he loses his rear wing. This is Michulis absolutely distraught, probably. This is contact going through Pouwan and just on the exit. This is nightmare, and Michulis can't even keep the car going straight without the rear wing. Is this going to be the end of Michulis, or is he still going to attempt to get it back? He is going to attempt, but he is on the very back. He only has 2 drivers behind him at this point, and that's probably going to be even more as Francesconi does overtake him for 18th place. So that's terrible news for Michulis. That was not what you want to see. No contact at Pouwan is ever a good thing, especially when it causes your rear wing to fall off. So, luckily for Michulis. Looking through the grid, most of the gaps have extended by a bit. And although there's one battle going for 9th place between Ben Horrell and Fran Lopez, there's possibly a battle brewing. They're actually very close to each other, and Fran Lopez seems to be quite a bit faster, so that could be a very quick battle, as we've seen before. And actually in front of those two, not too far in front, is Tom Parker, who did have it second and a half, but I think that gap is actually lowering down, possibly. As Lopez has a bit of a look into Pouwan, but that is not a good idea to do so from so far back. But having a bit of a better run now, possibly going to try it on the straight later on, right before Blanchimont, but he is on the very back of Horrell. Just has so much more confidence than the Red Archer than the Green Stripes, is it? Yes, Green Stripes racing car. So Fran Lopez is on it, he has the race pace, and we've seen him from qualifying having an absolutely fantastic speed in that Red Archer. And as he has said, he had possibly even higher spot than 6th as he has qualified in. But he can't seem to be... Welcome back, Josh. And there's a bit of a battle for 9th place, which has just finished.
Oh, well, I've missed that then, haven't I?
Yes, Fran Lopez is on the chase for Tom Parker now for 8th place, though.
Well, something we can keep an eye on for certain, and if Ben Horrell decides that he wants to make a comeback, then he can have another go at Fran. But speaking of comebacks, he's not that far off coming up with Kemmel, but he is quite far back now.
I just realized that Niels Brugman has retired.
Oh, well, that's not good.
No,
engine failure. Engine problems for Niels Brugman.
I'm not entirely sure when that happened.
Well, Niels' car, what car is he in? 30 of the 30, he's in the 33, and that engine was worn 84%.
That either appears like damage from a crash, or just...
Oh, you overrevved it.
Or over revving it, yeah, that would be a nightmare considering they have a limited supply of engines.
Oh, battle from the lower end of the points, or rather X-Battle, because Florian Guy has blown past Tobias Olsen for P15.
From what I've been seeing, Tobias Olsen just does not have the speed at all in that car. Everyone blasts through him.
He is a quick driver, but that Hawkeye is not the best car on the field.
No, it just appears that the aerodynamic drag is not helping this car whatsoever.
Considering the fact Gaia probably would have had DRS as well.
Yes, as for the Pushka is very close to Mashuli once again.
That has been an ongoing battle, this race. That is the thing, it's been an ever-present battle, and now it looks extremely close. He's pretty much nose to tail with the Italian here. This is getting a little bit serious, ladies and gentlemen. Is Mashuli Fidek, Mashuli Pushka, that's what I meant to say.
We've seen him as close before.
Fidek's behind, 6 seconds behind, so Philip Pushka needs to stay close here, otherwise he's not really going to have that much of a chance. Through Eau Rouge, and he's lining up the overtake, cuts it nicely. You are allowed to cut the inside of Eau Rouge, remember? And he's got to have this now, got to be game, set and match. Down the outside he goes, which becomes the inside. And this is surely done for Pushka now. Mashuli moves across to defend it, place contact, and well, Pushka goes through there, but I'm not sure what happened. Let's have a second look.
It was another one of those situations where there was literally not even a tenth of a second between the two.
Mashuli appeared to move across and then tried to get the corner, overjudged it and tapped Pushka. No one's really come out of that badly though. That might just be classed as a racing incident by the DC post race, even if it gets reported. So what matters now though is that Pushka is taking the lead.
So that's definitely one for Pushka to be very happy with. If he can just continue on like this, he can become the leader of the championship.
He most certainly can at this race.
Now, while you were also gone, there was a bit of another crash with Mishulis who lost his rear wing, so that is why he is so far back. Yes, there was contact between him and I think it was one of the Hokais in Puan. Oh, Tobias Olsen, yes, there was a contact with Tobias Olsen on Puan and just backwards into a wall at fairly low speed and lost the rear wing.
Yeah, so rear wings are fragile on these cars. Sometimes if you lose it, then you got no rear downforce. P5, we're about battle 4. It is currently Gagzella Columbus. Or at least a closing battle, and that Mindorgus is not very far behind that Emmanuel.
No, they're very close.
As Gagzella comes in, that's why. Retro's come in as well, in all fairness. So Retro in too, as is Brewer. And Lopez behind does not, so he will gain quite a few places here.
Yes, there was another driver who made a mistake. Now, who was it earlier that then went into pits on the first scheduled pit stop? Now, if I could just remember who it was exactly, that'd be a good idea.
That would be helpful. Apparently, it was Francesconi.
Wasn't Francesconi there with damage in the first laps? But I mean, it was just 4 or 5 laps earlier.
Yeah, we've got cars going by Adrian McNaughton now as he comes into the pits. The likes of Horrell, Short, and Guy Maguire behind. But Philip Pushka now actually starting to pull away from Mashuli by the looks of it. So you think the Italian's coming to the end of the tire off? He's got the pit in icon.
Battle for 11th place between Adam Maguire and Florian Guy are going through Eau Rouge right now.
Oh yeah, Guy and Maguire. That could become a song name if you tried hard enough, but it's looking to be going very German in the favour of it. And look at he's through before he even gets to Lacombe. Florian Guy through into 11th. Adam Maguire pretty much helpless on that front.
What a massive difference in speeds. That is one of those differences of cars development more than anything, it looks like. Or possibly just turning up that boost of the Martix engine.
Or possibly could be doing that. But nonetheless, Pushka is actually really storming ahead now. Both have the pit-in icon on the cars, which is crucial. Pushka will want to go in first, but it gives Mashuli a chance to react, you see, if he does that. So it's going to be interesting regarding pit strategy. Pushka in, and Mashuli does not follow.
Oh dear, so it's going to be a reverse... A reverse.
This is good. Given that Mashuli was slower than Pushka when he got through fighting.
As there's a side-by-side between Maguire and Shorten, actually. They don't go through, but it was a side-by-side through corners which you usually don't see people trying. As actually Maguire is the one driver I was trying to figure out who was pitting earlier, and he is on the harder compound, so that is why that is why he had who was it? Geyer blow past him with so much speed, and that's why Horrell is trying to overtake him so hard.
Yeah, I mean, that harder compound, people like to get off these days, don't they?
Yeah, it's not very quick. It just doesn't have enough speed for you to be able to hold onto your positions, really. So that's why a lot of drivers elect to pick that compound for the very end of a stint rather than for the beginning.
May I just point out, Fran Lopez has not pitted this race. He is in P4 at the moment. You have to pit, obviously, but being P4 now, very impressive from how the start went.
That is very impressive indeed. So we're just going to have to wait and see, and hope he'll be hoping to...
Oh, P12, P12! There's Horrell's gone acrobatic in the turn there!
That is the end of the race for Ben
Horrell. He's
Horrell.
gone over that green stripe. Well, he's got the old Formula Ford going on with no front or rear ailerons, but...
That's Maguire out as well.
Oh, Maguire out as well. I can't see what happened. My replay is still laggy. Do you have any idea, Kacper? Oh, contact in Eau Rouge, apparently. Probably between Horrell and Maguire. Ben Horrell is still going. But I think he's on the outside of the track barrier now, and he's not going to find a way in unless he's very persevering. That could be the Welshman's race over, and it is.
And that is very unlucky.
That is it for Horrell. He is out.
That is why you don't want to go side by side through a Rouge or attack through a Rouge at all, just because there's so much danger of doing that.
McNaughton out as well with straight DNF. Adrian McNaughton becomes a casualty of this race as well.
As Mashuli is in pits.
Yep, Eros Mashuli in, which I think actually with McNaughton's retirement, that leaves us with 16 runners. But
Only
of course
one...
Adrian can get back into the race.
That would only leave one non-point scorer.
Well, who says Super League can't be dramatic?
So it seems like Pushka actually did gain a bit through that action. Actually a lot. He's gained good 4 or 5 seconds, it appears.
Yeah, yes, this has really worked for him as Philip Pushka could be on the way to a race win here. It would be a well-deserved one. Mind you, battle for P3, Redshaw Fidek on. And then McNaughton has rejoined for a look at this. Oh, that seemed like a very easy overtake for Redshaw there.
So much speed. DRS does so much
helps,
speed.
Of course. Obviously, that's what it does, doesn't it? That's what it does.
It does. Although
was on it.
We've seen the DRS not being nearly as effective here as on some other circuits.
Yeah, I mean, he was 20 kilometers almost. It was about 15 kilometers ahead was Redshaw, and that's what it does. That is what it does.
I think now that I'm looking at it, Fidek is just not... That car just does not have the speed in straight line at all, and that's just a problem.
Well, Redshaw is a podium position for Woods is obviously a great thing. You know, they're not the best car, not the best engine, haven't had the best season, but Redshaw has really made it for them. Not to take away from the achievements of Roy Shorten, of course.
Has Redshaw been pits yet?
I think he has, yeah. He was in on lap 13.
That is very surprising to see him so high up then.
So we've already pitted. He's got pace. He has got pace.
And has Fidek
got a better car.
He has, hasn't he? Yes,
and
he
in
has.
The long run, yeah, and in the long run, that might help the 2014 Drivers' Champion. Nonetheless, that is a battle which we're going to want to keep our eyes on. Speaking of battles we want to keep our eye on, pop your eyes to P6, Minogas Thomas and Daniel Brewer, giving each other food for thought. And not long behind them, it's Parga Lopez. And not long behind that, it's Gaia Benefield.
Lopez is on the fresh tires as well, since he just pitted in.
Columbus is looking to have a very good run at the Keppel Straight yet. This could be game set match for the Lithuanian. If all goes well for him, he's going to come down now into Eau Rouge. He is on the throttle. He moves into 8th gear. And he clips the first, clips the second, cuts the third as you're allowed to do, clips the fourth. Going to get DRS back into 8th.
I think he's a bit too far away.
A bit too far away from an overtake, but he'll close in again. Lopez Parker behind. What's Tom Parker going to do? Fran Lopez goes hyper defensive. Lewis Redshaw out. Lewis Redshaw has gone. That is possibly a disconnect for Redshaw.
It's a straight disconnect.
And
for
well, McNaughton disconnected as well, but managed to rejoin. So, yeah, a straight disco for Redshaw, and he's going so well. That is absolutely unfortunate. He can rejoin though. But Lopez Parker has not gone anywhere because of Fran's defensiveness.
It's a heartbreak for a driver who just got into the podium position, and that was real podium position with his pit stop, with him being after a pit stop. That is a heartbreak.
Yeah, he can rejoin the race because it was a disconnect, not a technical failure on the car. He can rejoin and get going here, but he's down in 14th, and Mazulis has got a whole lap to go before he catches him, so he's looking for 14th now, as Red Show, which compared to 3rd isn't really as good. Might not think it's worth it, but hopefully he does.
Well, hopefully he does rejoin, since it'll be good to see him, but and he still has a chance of maybe getting 1 or 2 points, but it's still a sad sight to see someone from so high up just having an internet troubles or some kind of another issue where he just disconnected.
Yeah, he dropped out the team speak as well, so I think P5 we're looking at now is it's Brewer Columbus again. Potential battle. Brewing up again, pun entirely intended.
Brewer's on, again, the softer tires, or the harder tires, sorry, so he is going to be quite a bit slower than Columbus. So I wouldn't be surprised if Columbus just absolutely powered through.
Well, not necessarily powered through, but he's going to have a really good go. He doesn't actually elect to opt to cut Eau Rouge as much that time, strangely. Maybe he thinks it's going to give him better drive. He gets the DRS open. Unfortunately, it's not close enough for the Lithuanian. He will have to wait.
What I'm seeing right now is that Vodbull car is just just topping out on the...
I've just seen Benefield leave the pit, and he's on the harder compound.
Trying to get that mandatory tire.
Trying to get it out of the way. Trying to get it out of the way from P11. Not a bad call.
Of course.
Francesconi exits, also on the hard tyre.
Of course, every driver on the grid has to do it.
That way, Tapper's had a bit of a moment down at P15 because he's got no rear wing. He's got the Formula 4 going on as well. There's that way, Tapper. Now, how long has that been going on? Quite a while. He has had that going on for quite a while. Where did he lose it?
Early on in the lap.
Yeah, Tapper lost it on early in the lap.
Surely had to go wide to avoid Tapper.
Something has happened with Dawei Tapper there earlier on in this lap. I think the replay for me is just too laggy to find out.
It is.
But, yeah, it's not really... P5 on again, though, as we need to look at that. Daniel Brewer versus Columbus once again. Through Blanchimont to go. Columbus forced to run wide. That is not going to do the Lithuanian any favours.
It seems like Columbus just, again, or that car in general, just that team does not have the top speed. And I think they... makes a mistake out of the last corner.
Just drops it out of the final turn there. And all that work is going to be undone. It's going to throw him into the reach, at least, of Fran Lopez, who is now looking very racy in P7, wants that P6, and now we can taste it.
Personally, I think that they made quite a bit of a tactical mistake with deciding that they should be topping out their 8th gear in DRS, because that means they have no chance of overtaking anyone on speed, which they definitely have.
Yeah,
as you can see, even without DRS, she's topping out.
It's each to their own, isn't it? David Young very helpful in the comments saying that it was Tapper lost it on the outside from Lacoon. So, an easy corner to mess up, and Dawa has fallen foul of it. Because they're changing surfaces as well. Because it goes from like the curbs to some sort of lattice surface or dot surface, then on the grass. If you look carefully, Tapper in and out of the pits, he's back out of P15. McNaughton going in P16, now we do have 1 non-points pay in position.
Yeah, well, if Lewis Redshaw could still technically come back, but at this point I think he's way too far back to be able to regain points unless someone...
At this point, it's just not looking like it's viable, an option, or worth an option to continue for Redshaw. Unfortunately, he has gone, and that is a shame because he was doing very, very well, and he will be gutted about that. That is for certain. Philip Pushka won't be gutted with his P1 though. He's about 5 seconds ahead of Mashuni now. Well, the gap has dropped to 4.7 this lap.
Yeah, that gap is still quite big, and just that going wide of Mashuli because he had to avoid the car for the rear wing. Dow Tapper. Yeah, there we go. That cost him about half a second or so. So he's trying to regain that still, let alone trying to regain the 5 seconds he lost in the pit stops.
Yeah, he's obviously got some time to make up and all this, so let's make it up quickly.
As Redshaw comes back.
Oh, Reggio is back! Lewis Reggio's back, but he's 2 laps down on McNaughton. Going to be about getting to the end now, I think, for Reggio, but good to see he has come back. He
Getting
is
some
indeed
experience is
back
always good.
and out on the track.
Getting racing experience is always nice, and even if you are so far back, it's always good to get comfortable with the car and just, if something like this happens, don't let it get you down.
It's perseverance and it's a good quality to have, that's what it is.
It is. That's why you see so many teams in real life also continue on even if they can't gain points.
Yeah. I distinctly remember, it was a couple of years ago here at GPV, it was the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and I remember, more than anything else, my personal hero team in that race was Deltec. They had so many problems, and technical issues, and they kept getting knocked back, but they got the car home in the end.
By the way, Brewer and Columbus for 5th place are again very close.
I was watching that myself, yeah. Brewer and Columbus duking it out again. This is a close battle as it has been for most of the time I've been watching it actually, and Columbus closes in but can't do anything yet. He will wait until the bus stop or the Camel.
So far, Brewer's defense has been absolutely stellar with being on a
stoic defense from Daniel Brewer. Yes, absolutely up there with them in terms of defense standards. But now comes Columbus's strong point. No DRS, but he's got a valiant engine, propelling him towards Brewer. And if not, he's got the slipstream. He's got to do something, but he's got to lift.
He couldn't even do it.
Car in all the right places.
He couldn't do it. He was on the limiter again. He just does not have the top speed, even if he wanted to.
Well, Columbus is probably going to get the DRS down the front straight here.
He has to worry about Lopez
now. He's dropped it again, and this time he's lost a position to Lopez. That has cost the Lithuanian. Through goes Lopez, and all of a sudden you'd think Lopez is going to have a chance at DRS on Brewer of all people. Honestly, Lopez could get to stand 2 positions.
Honestly, I think Lopez has a bigger chance of overtaking Brewer than Columbus ever stood with that short 8th gear.
Oh, look, he's going for it already. He's cut over his... Oh, almost taps the back of him. Careful, Fran. That's going to ruin it. Burn is in because he's going to have another go. Outside, inside, all over the place is Fran Lopez. Brakes, late enough to cut in front. But is he going to hold it? He just about does. What a move from Fran Lopez. Well held. But he's not done yet because Brewer and Columbus are going to fight.
On the better tires, it's always a bit easier to overtake on the outside than it would be on even tires. But that was still a very, very good move. And here we're back to the same battle.
Out. That is another disconnect.
Oh no.
Well, it's not mass disconnects, so it's not red flaggable at the moment. But it's becoming a concern, you'd think, that multiple people are disconnecting.
Yeah, this is not what you usually see, but hopefully that's the last of them, and hopefully we won't get any more issues. But another disappointment from another driver, disconnect-wise.
Yeah, it is a bit strange, but nothing to be too concerned about. What we should be more concerned about is Columbus and Brewer are going to go at it for 6th place, not 7th this time, or 5th. They are now fighting for position less because... Well, Fran Lopez took the initiative.
Yeah, Lopez is now running away with it. He is definitely much faster than Brewer and Columbus when they're battling at the very least. So, yeah, Columbus just does not have the speed to catch up to Brewer, even if he will have DRS. Just no speed.
Oh, Columbus lined himself up well there. But he's going to get the DRS now. He'll probably get it again coming through the Camel. We're on lap 20 and 44 here at Spa, and Philip Butler still leads. Columbus runs into the back of Brewer a bit there, though.
Thankfully, no one got really affected except Columbus, so that's good.
It's going to ruin his chances of an overtake, though.
Again, it seems like such a bad decision strategically with that setup. You wouldn't think from a team that's this good that they would make that mistake, but I guess that's not something you really think about when you're making the car to go the quickest, because overtaking is not always in mind when you do that.
Yeah, well, that might be the case. New personal best lap from Emmanuel Gagzeller in all this. He said at 1:53.6. I am now consulting the live timing, so I know these things. He has gone and done that personal best. So,
as Michulis is back.
Yep, we do have a Michulis back, so people just having a couple of disconnect issues and rejoining.
So at the moment we have 3 drivers in the field on the harder compound, and that'd be Brewer.
Oh, he's gone again. Michulis has gone again. I think that's client side, to be honest.
It appears to be. We have Brewer, Benefield, and Francesconi at the moment on the harder compound, so we're just going to have to wait and see how they're going to manage that and if that's going to be an advantage or disadvantage in the end.
Yeah, ultimately, they're going to have to manage it as well as they can.
They will be trying to probably use those tires as long as they can.
Oh, here comes Columbus now. He's not going to try to launch him on again. He's got the track distance this time. He's got it, or he had it, because Brewer comes across just enough to stop an overtake, but he's got to try in the bus stop. His line is good enough. Down the outside goes Columbus, does a bit of a dive bomb, and it works. He breaks late enough, and as a result of that, Brewer comes in.
That's to be expected.
He wants to get off the hard tyres.
You do want those soft tires because they're just so much better in corners and just generally so much faster around the lap.
Some fantastic late break from Columbus to get into 6th, though.
That was very good indeed. A bit of a dive bomb, but sometimes that's the only way you can do it.
Yeah, sometimes the dive bomb is the best strategy. Contrary to popular belief, P9, we've got a battle going on. It's Gaia Schroden. Gaia hoping to get out of P9 and into P8 on the Woods car ahead of him.
As Brewers actually comes out right in front of those two.
Oh yes, so this is going to be a bit interesting on new tyres, which you've got to warm up. How much are Shorten and Gaia going to close in? That is the question. With you allowing a cut or rouge, that's less of a problem. But Florian looks to have this in the bag. He's pretty much got it already.
He has. Just so much more speed at the moment.
Yeah, he's maxing out, and so is Shorten. Shorten's actually got the pit-in icon on his car. And Olsen out. Olsen out with a disconnect also.
Oh no, not another driver down, and it just doesn't seem very. It seems like there's some issue, but it's not a mass disconnect. This seems
very weird, but it's happening too slowly, I think.
It's a single driver at a time, and that wouldn't suggest. Oh, as Parker goes a bit spinning.
Oh, Parker, yeah, got a bit offline there, a bit squiggly. Held it nicely, though, as does Tom Parker, because he's a good driver. A very good driver. Fantastic driver. And, well.
I think you can say that about pretty much every driver
in
here.
Yeah, every driver in Super League has talent.
I mean, they're here for a reason, and the teams will only hire drivers which they think can bring them very good results.
Yeah, Super League drivers and Super League drivers for a reason.
Indeed.
They're in the top tier of the echelon of the career ladder because they deserve it. Which is something I'll probably never be able to do because I don't deserve it.
It seems like drivers are actually now quite far away from each other. Everyone is, so it seems like we have a bit of a slower time on the track, so...
Yeah, it's a bit of a slow news day at the moment now. It has become slow. Roy Shorten does come in, though.
Yes, Shorten does come in.
That solves that then. Parker doesn't behind, and Daniel Benefield won't do. Probably, at least, and in fact he doesn't.
This is about halfway point. It seems like halfway point is always a bit more spread out, and then they come together again after the next round of pit stops or so.
Yeah, that's when it seems to happen. It also to spread out mid-race and get tight again or close again towards the end or near the 75% mark.
I'll predict now that Masciuli is going to try to undercut Pushka.
Mind you, we are at half race distance, lap 22.
Yes, as I said, I think next time Eros is just going to try and undercut Pushka because he just lost so much last time.
Yeah, that might happen.
I'm still surprised he lost as much as he did. They were so very close together, and then suddenly it's 5 seconds. And now it's actually the gap is increasing. I think Eros' tires are starting to go off properly.
Well, Michael Francesconi is not letting up. He's just done a purple sector 3 Masciuli in, purple sector 3 for his teammates.
Oh wow, so I called it.
Eros in, there you go.
There we go.
He pits in, and into the pits he comes, hits the brakes, into the pit box, jacks go up, and he is on the hard compound, or the medium compound, the harder compound.
Which would mean that he's going to try and... Now, I've heard that apparently they could be driving up to 20 laps on this compound, but it's so slow. Do you think he's going to be attempting to go to the finish?
I don't think Eros is going to go to finish on these. I think he'd probably prefer the harder tyre, to be honest. But good lap so far from Dan Brewer. Green sector 1, purple sector 2. Keep an eye on that. This could be race fastest lap if he doesn't make a hash of sector 3. As he comes round the start finish, he has set a 1:52.237. Not enough for fastest lap, but close.
Let's be honest, Daniel Brewer has been so quick ever since he got that podium in, what was it, Germany? So he
Yeah,
has
that might have been the catalyst for a bit of inspiration for him and the Kernow team. They'll have got a lot of development points out of that and a lot of money, so they can afford to develop the car more.
I think very much so, and he will be trying to absolutely continue with his form. And from what we're seeing at the moment, he is on it.
Sometimes you can just take one good result, and that swings the season in your favour.
Confidence is all it takes.
The confidence is there now, isn't it?
It is, and some may underestimate the power of confidence in a car. That's essentially what. That's one of the things that makes you one of the better drivers. Just being able to have the confidence in the car and being able to know its limits a lot better.
Yeah, you gotta know your limits, and when you get your limits, don't exceed them, because exceeding your limits is the best way to find out that you're going too quickly.
Yes, the best way to judge that is by running out of tires for the most part.
Yeah, try driving one of these Superleague cars on 0% tyres all around, you'll struggle.
You struggle probably at about 20%. It's very much you're at one point, and it's some arbitrary percentage that I don't know exactly. You'll just not have enough grip, and you will have to come into pits.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the way the tyres work is another story, but they're very complicated things in our factor too, and they have brought into the dimension of racing, really, with the proper saving techniques.
Yes, it has brought a lot, and the managing of heat in the tires is so much more difficult in our Factor 2 because you have so many layers, and you have to manage it in every single way like a real driver would. So it's a very, very good system in my opinion.
Well, one of the many perks of our Factor 2, isn't it?
It is. It allows you for a bit more realistic behavior from a car, I presume, would be the way to call it.
Yep. Oh, apparently Olsen pulled off the road and escaped. He didn't disconnect.
Oh.
So that will mean he can't resume.
Oh dear.
Which means Simracing will have guaranteed points.
Well, that is definitely everyone is scoring points now. So Redshaw coming back actually did give him a point. So
There was a point in it. Quite
Yay.
literally.
Quite literally, yes.
There was quite literally 1 point in it for Lewis Redshaw, and
No one knows.
maybe even more if the people retire. Not like I'm hoping they will.
Well, hopefully not, but it is still a possibility.
With 20 laps to go, you're absolutely right.
I mean, yeah. Actually, Pushka is staying out for quite a while now.
Oh, he's come in.
Has he? Oh,
He's come into the pits.
okay. So let's see if Mashuli can.
David Fidek won't
Undercut.
take the lead here as well, which is key.
Oh my!
He's got enough of a buffer now as Pushka.
Mashuli's pits just are not quick enough. I don't think he's aggressive enough on the entry.
Yeah, Eros's last lap time was 153 dead, and Pushka's just before he pitted in was 153.4. But those were on worn tyres, remember. On new tyres, it might be even better. But then again, remember, if you come through past traffic, you might get DRS. And he's going to have the DRS on Fidek. And Mashuli not close enough to make a move, though.
And that will be slowing him down considering he is on fresher tires. But also, well, another thing is, Mashuli is on a harder compound, so it will be a bit slower either way.
Yeah, a little bit slower will Mashuli be, but he's got to try and do something on Fidek.
Of course, Pushka still has to go for a harder tire later. So it's not all over for Mashuli yet at all.
Absolutely, and as it stands in the championship standings, I can tell you now that Pushka's win here will give him, if the standings would remain as they were, would give him 5 points over David Fidek, which wouldn't be enough. So Philip Pushka actually needs Eros Mashuli to overtake David Fidek here, because then the gap will be 9, and that means that Pushka will actually go ahead of Fidek in the driver standings. This second is crucial for David.
Fidek will have to come into pit sometime, although he is good in saving tires.
If Pushka beats Fidek and Mashuli beats Fidek, if David Fidek finishes third, Mashuli second and Pushka first, we'll go from Fidek, Pushka, Mashuli to Pushka, Mashuli,
goes
Fidek.
possibly for an attack now. I think, but you can
And
see
he's
that
in, he is in, Eros is in.
Mashuli is in. What? But it's so early. I think he just doesn't like the tires.
I think he wanted to get off those tyres.
That does
using
mean
the
having
for as
one more pit
minimum
stop.
as possible, and it's completely legal and a very brilliant strategy call.
I'm not sure if it's so brilliant considering he will lose quite a bit of time. No.
Well, I say brilliant, I mean brilliant in terms of getting off the tyres, not brilliant strategically. It's the best time he could have chosen.
I think the best time for someone to go onto the harder compound is at the very end, the very last stint. Because then, and shorten that to as much as you can. And Mashuli just lost time by doing what he just did, because he will have to come in once more.
Theoretically, if your pit box was in front of the, if your pit box was before the start finish, you could come in on the final lap, change your tyres, and he'd use them in the race.
I'm not sure if that would be very illegal, though.
It's not illegal, I don't think. You've used them in the race, technically, you could argue, but if we're talking technicalities, there's a million and one things we talk about, which we probably shouldn't do. It's not what we want to see, but given that we've had things which are recently which are not illegal, but were still penalised. You wouldn't count it against someone maybe trying if they really felt like it, but I hope they
Yeah,
wouldn't.
I wouldn't be risking it by any means. And it's possible that it depends on the on where your pit box is as well. It's a lottery more than anything.
Yep. Well, I must say, with 26 laps in, on a go up to 27, Philip Puschke still very much a leader by 9.9 seconds over David Friday as it stands. The German looking to do a very good cut and run job here. Wants to run away with the win and potentially the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Oh, we got battle on for P9 as well, supposedly. There is something going on, and what is going on? What is going on is Daniel Benefield and Roy Shortner in a bit of battle.
Shorten is going to be attempting to overtake Benefield. Benefield on the slower compound again. I'm now going to try and quickly see the whole thing about the tires. If there's a rule about one lap, possibly. I'm just going to quickly see.
Well, you go do that. I'll keep an eye on this battle for 9th and 10th. And, well, it is very much a case of good things happening here. Benefield Shorten going for a little bit of a go at each other. Roy Shorten has the advantage here, but has to back off. Benefield goes wide. And all of a sudden, we have Shorten Benefields. Really going to heat up on the front straight into the camel. Oh, a bit of a problem there for Benefield. Perhaps Shorten's caught right up. Wow. Must certainly be something about to happen. So, out of La Source.
Hmm.
Here we go then. What's going to go on? Well, we got Shroten for one. Yep, nicely.
Isn't Shroten a bit too far back now? That's what it looks
Yeah,
like
I think
to me.
he is, but he's going to try. He's going to try. He's closing in at a rate of knots. What's he going to do? He's not going to go from that far
there's no
behind.
way.
No, he knows better than that. I'm just trying to negotiate with people in the chat, actually, because we're just talking about some stuff. But nonetheless, it's not my job. Well, it is technically my job to keep an eye on the chat, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, Shroten is still so very close behind Benefield, and I'm just having issues trying to find the whole rule about compounds, so I'm just going to leave that here.
Yeah, I think it's best if you just leave that be.
Yeah. But in any case, it looks like this is probably the closest battle on track, is it? Or actually, no, Brewer and Lopez are very close as well for 5th.
Yeah, I mean, this could be a good one. Definitely worth keeping an eye on this, because, well, Brewer Lopez, yeah.
Both very quick drivers, and Lopez showing that the Red Archer is nowhere near as bad as it used to be.
Yeah, I mean...
Also, Fiduk did pit at some point, so Fiduk is in 3rd place now, behind Mashuli.
Indeedy. That is a thing. As here we go, Lopez, Brewer, inside, outside,
So much
inside.
speed.
He's got the speed differential there, and he's got the braking advantage. Through goes Lopez. Through there. Just looking at the replay of that. He went from the outside to draft to the inside. He changed line a couple of times there.
Well, of course, the the driver that's attacking can change the line all he wants. It's
Yeah.
the driver defending that cannot change his line.
Because if you are defending, remember, you can get one change in line, and that's it.
One change of direction and then return to your racing line for the braking
Yeah, and realistically, Lopez actually conformed to that. So
zone. Yeah,
he went
well,
from the outside to the inside to the outside. He went back and forwards.
yeah, of course he was the attacker, so that wouldn't matter if he even changed it 5 or 6 times. But yes, if he was defending, that would still possibly be illegal. Yes.
No, I think he would have got away with that, to be honest. Doesn't get away with the lock-up, though. He has locked the tyres up. That is going to at least give Brewer a little bit more confidence, thinking he might be under a bit of pressure here.
But I think Brewer
doubt.
is way too far now. I think Lopez is much faster.
Well, we'll have to see whether he does crack under any potential pressure. I'm not the thing. He's sort of the person he sort of... Oh, God, I can't even get my English right anymore.
Shorten is in front of Benefield now. So he did
Oh,
overtake
yes.
as well.
Roy has gone through it, the P9.
It seems like he just overtook before Lacombe, because from what I'm saying, the difference was still in favor of Benefield on that time split.
Oh, Geyer into the pits and all this. Florian Geyer in. That is a pit stop, and it just happens. The German in for Nordstrom.
I think that's going to be his last pit stop. He is going for... Is he? Or actually, no, that'll be... I'm just trying to see. Yeah, that will be his last pit stop, I think. Since he has taken... He can't do the amount of laps until the end, I think.
We're on lap 29.
We are 64%.
We'll be asking 15 laps on these tyres.
He has been... He's only done 1 pit stop so far. So
Yeah.
I would bet he's attempting to do a 2-stopper. Or actually, no. Did he drive on the harder compound at any point?
I think he has made 2 stops, to be honest. I think he made one on the second lap. Well, I think Guy made one on lap 2, and then he's made another on lap 15, then another this lap. So he's still got to take the hards if he didn't before.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I wasn't exactly looking at his tire compounds, but if he hasn't taken the hards, then I'd say he will take them for the last 2 or 3 laps.
Well, we'll have to see what strategy the German does employ. Lap 30 for Philip Pushka. He leads by 26 seconds over Eros Mishuli, a commanding gap now. And surely not one he's going to lose unless he makes a mistake.
No, there's... Pushka is just going to absolutely take it unless unless there's something absolutely dramatic happening, which hopefully there won't be, at least for him.
Well, I do hope this race goes smoothly. That's all I can say.
That would be a very good thing indeed.
It's nice to see races that go well. I like commentating on good racing, as do we all when we do commentate, if we like commentating, because some people don't. If you would like to get involved with the GPVWC broadcast, actually, if you're like me and you like to do commentary stuff, or you want to help out on cameras, we're more than happy to have you. Do feel free to get in touch with either myself or Mr. Thomasons on the GPVWC forums or on Facebook if you have us at it, and we'll be sure to listen to your proposals.
Columbus has been in pits now and coming out right now.
Yep, Columbus comes out.
Also, as I was looking for him on him, yeah, the timing beam is after about the first 2 pit boxes, so you can't cheat it your way through with the hard tires, even if you tried.
Yep. Indeed. So, I would like to direct your attention to somewhere where there's a battle, but I can't find one.
No, there isn't. The closest thing we have
That backfired.
The closest thing we have is Fran Lopez and Daniel Brewer, and that's only increasing now.
Yeah, it's one of those series, as we said, where it kind of peters out towards the middle, but then closer towards the end. So,
Actually, there's one that's starting to brew.
Is it now?
Yes, it's still a bit away. It's about 3 seconds at the moment. But Fran Lopez is much faster than Gazella.
Now, I
About
am
a
going
second a
to
lap.
consult the timing on that one.
About a second a lap last lap. Over a second a lap.
Well, yeah, he was.
Oh, and he is, again, going to be over a second quicker this lap, I think. So,
Well,
that could be a very good one.
Looking at sector splits, he's got a bit of time in Sector 1, a lot of time in Sector 2, looking like it could be a developing battle, Lopez-Gaxala.
Yeah, that's nearly a second again. It's about 0.8 of a second last lap.
Well, yeah, this, if Lopez can get 4th after the incident at the start.
And starting from 6th, remember, so he would even advance on his starting position. That would be a very, very good feat for a team.
What he'd have done is he'll have done a reverse Marcus Winkelhock. He'll have gone from the back to the front, the back again, and in his case, gone from the front to the back to the front again.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. And again, in a car that we thought is not going to be developed any further, and seemingly...
And yet they have development. We don't know what's going on with Red Archer anymore. Answers on a postcard, please.
But either way, the updates seem to be working extremely well for the Red Archer, and with Fran Lopez being extremely quick and very consistent in this race so far. And we can see that Gagzilla is getting very much closer, visibly by the corner. And they do have Redshaw in between them too, but that's lap traffic.
Yeah, I'm in touch with several people, obviously, on the social media. I like keeping my eyes on my Facebook and all that. Obviously, we don't have live updates or anything, unfortunately. But I wish we did. That could be something I'm going to look into again. But talking with a couple of people, I think it's looking like Lopez. One person in particular I was talking to, it was, of all people, who's Jordan Weeks, who obviously has done Super League before, so he knows his stuff. Jordan actually thinks Fran is probably going to be quick enough to catch the likes of Fidek.
Wow, that would be
so,
quite a...
bit of a bold statement, perhaps. I think he's probably got a chance to give him a run for his money. And look at this, Columbus behind Purple Sector 2.
That's so very quick from Columbus. Then again, he is in a very good car, and he was being blocked earlier, so he's probably now finally got a bit of more free air.
Yeah, Mindy's got clean air now. Let's see if he can do us anything with it. Around the final turn. Don't drop it, please. He hasn't done. Lovely done. This is going to be fastest lap. Columbus does a 1:51.196, which is race fastest lap.
Very, very quick. Columbus.
That's a new benchmark.
So from here on in, this is the one you're looking for.
Now we're looking for 151s.
And Fran Lopez is only doing 52s, high 52s at the moment. He's still catching up to Gagzilla, not at the rate as he used to.
But not a lap from Columbus though. He just pulled it together when he needed it.
In a second, there should be blue flags for Redshaw as well. I would have guessed, considering he is laps down, and you don't want lap traffic to be a hindrance to a battle brewing.
Indeed. So. Let's wonder why there's not more to talk about for starters, but secondly, let's just have a little bit of recap of the race so far then, for those who are interested and haven't been here. Started with Eros Mashuli on pole, didn't do that badly, but then Filip Pushka absolutely got him on the straight, pulled ahead, and he's led the race ever since.
Pushka just had such a good second part of his first stint, and then from there on he just has better pit stops than Mashuli consistently, and he just runs away with it. And then Mashuli, of course, making that massive blunder of having the wrong tires for one of his pit stops, as Lopez has got a bit wide for the last chicane.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it has been the Pushka show though, this race, and we've seen the likes of Fran Lopez go from the front to the back to the front again. We've seen the likes of Morten Pedersen. Not to do well. We've seen a flying green stripes in Ben Horrell. We have seen the lot this race.
Indeed. Brewer in pits, by the way, going for another set of...
He's got that rev limiter maxed. He's holding the throttle down. He wants out of that pit lane.
Of course he would. You just want to get away as quickly as you can. Although, interestingly enough, of course in Formula 1 it is allowed to get your tires, heated up, you could say. Basically do a burnout out of your pit stall. But for something like endurance racing nowadays, it's not even allowed to do that, so he's lucky that he's in a single-seater in an online racing environment.
Yeah, well, sometimes the virtual world can have its benefits, can't it?
Oh, yes.
Sometimes it can.
The smell of burning rubber.
You don't have to put up with that for one.
Oh, yeah. Although some people love it.
Yeah, so... Yeah, some people do, some people don't. Clutch is worse than rubber, though. I'll tell you that.
It seems like... Oh, wow. Fran Lopez is doing 51s himself now.
Well, Fran Lopez. Just go one quicker, will you?
It's mid 51s, but he is catching up to Gagzilla.
Yeah, he had a 151.6 before Columbus went faster. And, well, Benefield's just set a personal best.
This could definitely be very interesting. But that personal best from Daniel Benefield is a bit slow, to be perfectly honest, compared to sometimes we have some.
Kacper. You know when he said Gagzilla Lopez was going to be a thing?
It is.
It is a thing. There's about a second between them.
Yes,
0.9 of a second between them. This has become a battle because Lopez will get DRS.
Lopez is so very quick at the moment. Very well driven for the Archer. Red Archer car.
Yeah, I said he can have good races, didn't I? I know he's had his problems in the past, but when he puts in a good race, by goodness does he put in a good race. And this is one of them from Lopez, showing just how good he is.
Yeah, again, it's very good. And it seems like today he does have consistency, which is something you really want.
Yeah, I think he was the youngest race winner in GPV, just 14 or 15 years of age when he took his first race win.
That is...
He's one of the young breeders, Lopez.
That is very young indeed. I think my first race win in any series at all was something like 16, and that was in a low enough racing series.
Yeah, Lopez very much a young talent, probably got a lot of time
he makes a mistake
to develop. So he makes a mistake. Well, yeah,
the car flying.
Mistakes do happen, and that is not a good place to want to make one in Pouon because it is very bumpy. He loses time to Gagzilla then, but he can make it up again. I have faith. I just can't weird that Francisconi's avoided a narrow escape trying to pass Tom Parker.
Oh, Francisconi just not having a good day today.
It is not a good day at the atmosphere. Honest Engineering in P12.
He did such...
And yeah, right ahead of Francisconi, it's Parker and Shorten. It's Parker. Well,
Parker seems to be faster than Pushka in a straight line.
Shorten's way ahead, but Parker wants to go on Pushka. Francisconi wanted to go on Parker, but it's not happening.
Well, this is interesting. You would nearly think that Parker is actually fighting for the lead for the moment.
Well, he's trying to unlap himself. Well, he's
wow.
stopped. Wow.
I think... Oh no, I think he may have mistaken Francisconi for Mashuli.
Has he? Now,
I'm not entirely sure, but that's what it looked like to me.
Was, sudden lift off and braking.
And he went on the outside.
Could have been a technical blip, but he might have made that mistake.
It could have been a mistake, but very much looked like letting someone through. Could have just legitimately
let him through.
Would that
People do that sometimes.
I wouldn't be that surprised.
Yeah, it looks like Tom Parker just let Francisconi through. Well, that's quite sporting of it.
Yeah, I think again it may have also been just a mistake of, because you see the car from a certain team, and then you kind of think, oh, this guy is in second place, but he isn't. This is the other driver.
Well, it can be an easy mistake to make. If you have something like track mark plumbing in, it's a lot harder to make.
Yeah, it is a bit, and if you have something like the labels on top of your drivers, it's also quite a bit easier to recognize, but yeah. Mistakes happen, and that could have also been a mistake, so let's not dwell on it.
Well, yeah, let's not dwell on it. Either way, Francisconi threw it to 11th. It looks, therefore, like Adonis Engineering are going to pick up, well, it's going to be 2 plus 11, isn't it, for the points? If the race stopped here, they would pick up 25 points in this race, and Vodbull would pick up considerably more, though. So Adonis would pick up 25, Vodbull would pick up 35, they'd gain 10 more, so not enough to...
Lopez goes...
Lopez!
Around.
That's a big one! That's a spin and a half, and well, Fran has all of a sudden made a mistake.
Suddenly, he will have his rear tires so lit up, he will have to pit.
Oh, do you know, it was at Stavolo too as well. He tried to catch it, but he ended up spinning more, and then spun more and more and more and more. That will destroy the rear tires.
Oh yeah, you could see him trying to get away. He just couldn't because the tires were too damaged.
And unsurprisingly, he's coming. He's going to change those on a new set of softs. Might cost the position to Columbus, but he's going to have the chance to challenge again. But brother Columbus, let's be fair, that is a developing little duel.
That indeed is a developing duel. They're very close.
Norton in the pits as well in all this.
And we have seen that car of Kerno is so much faster in a straight line.
Well, he is up against a Vodbull.
Yes, but the Vodbull, as I've said, has the issue of topping out on the speed limiter. And
Well, Columbus is in 8th as it stands. And then through goes Brewer down the inside.
The problem with Columbus, this is how fast he can go. This is his car will never go faster than this. It's because they just made a mistake, I think, in gearing.
Either that or they developed it around being at the front where you wouldn't get DRS.
Yeah, but that's always a bit of a false idea, isn't it? Like, you always have to be able to overtake someone. And even then, it's just, I think it was a very, very wrong decision, which cost Columbus at least 1 position now.
Well, each team has their own setup, really, because the cars are so different. And, you know, I guess at the end of the day, that's what works best for Red Bull. And, well, it's working best for Columbus at the moment. P1 and P6 on the team.
It's, of course, it's just a mistake. And possibly that will teach them that at Monza they just can't do something like this. But it's unlucky. Otherwise, it would have been a lot easier for Columbus to overtake drivers earlier as well, as we've seen.
Yeah, they're going to go 35 points to let's go 35 points to Nordstrom's 25. So they're only going to close the gap by 10 again. Probably no teams changes, titles changes going on. But
oh no, Fran Lopez. Fran Lopez
what's happened again? Oh, is he gone again? He's on the hards. He's got no rear wing.
No rear wing, yeah.
He's not. Oh, he's not. He lost it quite
early
a while ago. Did Lopez? What happened? He lost it to Eau Rouge. Oh, he has. What's happened is Lopez has gone through here, gone into Eau Rouge, then just seemed to understeer into the wall.
How is that even possible?
That is absurd.
I've never seen anything like that happen
ever
in a race.
Well, it's gone from bad to worse for Lopez now. Schroden is going to overtake for P9, and Francisconi is going to get into the top 10.
That was a very weird accident. I've never seen anyone crash like that there before.
Wow.
He just went straight on and hit the wall, and he's very lucky to not have damaged, or not to never have ripped off any of the wheels.
Well, yes, he will have to come in now, and does. Tom Parker probably even going to get a position out of this.
Yeah, that's definitely a good sign for Tom Parker. And Francisconi is in 10th place now after so many really not so very good moments so far in this race.
Yep.
So.
Indeed, and it is looking good for the likes of Parker. Francisconi, not so good for Lopez.
Actually, Francisconi is about to attack Schroten very soon. Or maybe run on the straight.
Indeed, that was the case, and well, at the rate it's going, Philip Pushka is set to take a 3rd race win in a row. Though, more importantly, if you look back at last year, Pushka actually took 3 wins in a row from Hungary, Belgium to Italy to take his driver's title.
Pushkin now on the harder compound, by the way.
On the harder compound, yes, but he took 3 wins last year. He took them at Belgium, Italy, and Hungary. This year he's looking to take them to Germany, Hungary, and Belgium.
Very well done so far, and
it seems to be these tracks that he's good at.
Yeah, probably those more slightly classic tracks, if anything.
And then, of course, if he takes the win at Italy, it'll be 4 in a row. And I don't think we've had that in a couple of seasons, actually. I'm going to go check that while you keep an eye on the action, Kacper.
Yes, that's Francisconi is actually very close behind Schroten. And he's probably going to be attempting to attack into Blanchimont.
Blanchimont, a very dangerous call to try.
Of course, no, he decides better of it. But possibly maybe going to try some dive bomb into... No, he is smarter than doing just a dive bomb on Schroten. Although Schroten does brake a bit early and squirrely into the chicane. While Francisconi, I think he's just going to be attempting to overtake after Rouge, because that's probably the best spot to do it.
Yeah, you have to go all the way back to 2012 before a driver won 4 races in a row. It was achieved 2 times in that season. By
Francisconi said was that into Rouge? No.
Francisconi passed through Thornton before Rouge. That is an ace move. Roy has the potential for a cutback if he can get close enough, but no, actually he won't, because it's Francisconi who has the DRS.
Just no grip on those tires that Schroten has. They're of course the harder compound.
There will be 5 laps or 4 laps to go after this for Pushka. You have to go back to 2012 before a driver last run 4 races in a go. in a row. It was achieved 2 times that season by both Lucas Euler, who would go on to win the Drivers' Championship that year, and Dave Carr-Smith, who was also in the championship fight. So, yeah.
Yeah, very impressive.
You have to go all the way back there to find that. Before that, I don't know. I haven't checked that far, but it was 2012 when a person last won 4 races in a row. And if Pushka takes this and then Italy, he will match that feat.
Yeah, of course that means that he will have to take Italy, but at the rate he's going at, that's not impossible by any means.
Not impossible at all. Of course, the record for most race wins is considerably more than that in a row. More than 4. I'm looking through the history books to see exactly what it is.
And Filip Pushka, if he does end this race in this place, which looks very likely, it will be very impressive to see him in the lead of the championship, considering he missed 2 rounds this season.
It would be, yes.
Monaco and Sochi being the 2, of course.
Indeed, yes. I think that the maximum amount, if I'm not mistaken here, the maximum amount of races won in a row by any one driver is actually 7. And that has been achieved twice as well by Joe Consiglio and Jana Taskinen. So you're going quite a bit back there.
That's still a bit to go for Philip to match that, but it's not impossible for him.
It's not impossible. There are enough races in the season for it to do it. Remember, 2009, Joe Consiglio took the last 7 race wins. Sorry, it wasn't 2009, he took the last 7. I'm mistaken there. 2010, Tanskin took 7 race wins in a row from Turkey to Italy. And then in 2011, it was Consiglio that took the final 7 of the season.
Wow. Just wow.
It takes some sort of dominance to do that.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
going a long way back there in the history books, 2011 and 2010, aren't we?
Yeah, that's quite a far
We're
back.
going quite a back. We're going quite a bit back there.
Is Gexel in pits? Yes, yes. He was in pits.
Yeah, Gaxella was in the pits, but now look where it is. If you'd overtaken by Columbus, though, Mendogas Columbus in P5.
But Gexel is not going to have a chance against Columbus on the harder compound, and that is still very cold.
He's got the DRS, and he's catching Columbus, but not quickly enough.
No, not on these tires, and not out of a corner which he hasn't gone through with a perfect line.
Well, maybe next time for the Romanian.
Still possible.
Might be a chance.
But outside of that, that's our closest battle on track, I think, isn't it?
It's probably the closest we're going to get.
Yeah. Everyone else is just a bit more spread out at this point. Which is a bit of an unlucky moment.
Yeah, although there is a fight, well, Columbus Gagzella want to keep an eye on. Maybe the Romanian can make some sort of comeback.
Possibly.
Obviously, he's got to do something, otherwise he'll be stuck in 6th, and he doesn't want that. He wants top 5.
We do want top 5, but has Columbus taken the hard tire yet? Or the harder tire?
Mendogas, I don't know. I've got a name that he has, but I ought to keep an eye on this. I ought to start noticing whether people are taking the hards yet. But then it makes it more fun when I don't realise. I think in the pits, though, he does take the hards.
Of course, he has to by the rules, so.
Brewer will not come out ahead, though, which is interesting. He's too far back.
Pit lane here, of course, got the first corner, which means that you kind of gain a bit of an advantage in a way. Although then you're losing speed into Eau Rouge.
Yeah, speed through Eau Rouge, quite a key factor. It's a fast corner.
Yeah, it's a fast corner, flat out, and you're trying to carry as much speed through it because the Kemmel straight right afterwards is just so very long.
Yeah, and drivers have been taking advantage of the exemption of the white line throughout this race. We can cut Eau Rouge. The inside left curb, uphill, penalty free.
Penalty free because of safety concerns. It is Eau Rouge is one of the most dangerous corners you will find in a track like this. It seems so benign, but once you're actually racing there, especially if you're in draft, it's one of the most difficult and one of the most dangerous corners every time you go through it.
Yeah, it's not an easy corner, is it?
It's the set
Very,
yes.
very difficult, Eau Rouge. You've got to take it in a certain manner. Oh, I've just seen Fran Lopez, I think, apparently has narrowly avoided a crash somewhere. I haven't seen that on the replay, but he must be going all out to try and catch Tom Parker, and he's not really going to succeed in that at the moment because Parker's way ahead.
Yeah.
Suspension damage, though, for the Spaniard.
He does indeed. He's turning slightly to the left to keep the car straight.
Yeah, looking at Lopez, he does look to be crabbing a bit there, and that is not healthy. He will not want that. He will not be very, very good off in that sense. He is not coming in to fix it, unsurprisingly, with just a few laps to go. Pushka on lap 42 and 44, so next lap will be the last lap but one.
Gagzella is keeping up with Columbus, which is quite, which means that Gagzella has an absolutely immense space on those tires. But I think the gap is actually under a second still. But I think he just does not have the speed to, or he just can't keep as close through places like Eau Rouge to be able to challenge Columbus on a straight line.
Well, we'll have to see. Columbus, Gagzella, a fight in progress. So, Philip Pushka just comes through Stabilo 1, then comes round through Stabilo 2, down through the Cour Poffret, and then through Blanchimont. He will start the penultimate lap of this race next lap. He will go on to 40 as he's completed. 43 is his lap.
What a race for Pushka. He's just been on it from the very
start. He took
start.
the lead from Mashuli and he's held it ever since. I
Yes,
think it's
indeed.
at this point where we'd start nominating driver of the day, but there only really seems to be one candidate for that.
I would have nearly had another candidate if not for a few mistakes now,
Yeah.
unluckily.
Well, let's play a little game then, Kacper. Apart from Philip Pushka, who would you say is driver of the day?
Well, at this rate, I'd nearly nominate Brewer.
Ah.
He has been showing very consistent, very fast pace in that Carno, and I think his stoic defense on the harder compound was absolutely fantastic to watch. So, well done. So I think Brewer would be my driver today, if not for Pushka.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of ruins the answer, and I'll say Pushka, but if I had to pick anyone from Pushka, I would actually pick the man I initially nominated for the race win, David Feidig. He's had a very consistent and strong race, hasn't put a foot wrong, and you got to commend that.
That is also commendable. He has been going very well. Honestly, if not for the few mistakes in the last possibly 5 or 10 laps, I would have also nominated Fran Lopez. So that's but luckily he has made too many mistakes now to really be a driver of the day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Potential mentally different candidates that you could pick for driver of the day if you wanted. But there is only one Philip Pushka and he's ran away with it. Eros Mashuli will need nigh on a miracle now to catch the German. He's at least 14 seconds behind and it doesn't matter if he's catching or not. Because the German has such a buffer. Sorry?
Geyer's in pits.
Geyer in the pits. Now, that is interesting. Benefield will have a run at him therefore. Not a good run, not a bad run, just a run. As Philip Pushka makes the run to the end as he will now start the final lap of the race.
He'll definitely be happy to be finished with this lap. It's a very long race and exhausting one at that because of how much concentration you need on this track. It seems simple enough on the surface, but this is probably one of the more difficult circuits as well on a driver to keep the concentration up.
The gap to Pushka now to Mashuli is 15 seconds. He could pretty much stop for a coffee on the way on the track. He's got that much time.
Nearly, indeed, and even on the harder compound, he is still seemingly making the gap, widening the gap between him and Mashuli. He's immensely quick.
Yeah, it has been his race, hasn't it? He has proven to us all why he is the reigning drivers' champion and, well, soon to be championship leader as well, because he will gain the necessary 7 points on David Feidig this race to take the championship lead. Eros Mashuli will finish ahead of David Feidig and therefore overtake him as well. So Feidig's going to go from first to third in a single race, even though he got third.
Yeah, unluckily.
It shows how demanding Superleague is. You have to be on the top of your game all the time.
All of the time. Well, Mashuli will be in third still, so he will be. He will still need to get a couple points to get into back into second.
Well, the gap to Pushka. Well, yeah. Sorry, I'm mistaken there. The gap to Feidig is 9 points, and as it stands, he's only going to gain 4 of those. So Feidig will not drop second in the championship. But one thing that's a certainty is Philip Pushka round the curve to Paul Frey comes through in the Blanchimont. He took the lead from Erasmus Uli early on in the race. He's held it ever since. It's a dominant drive befitting of a dominant driver's champion. Philip Pushka rounds the bus stop chicane. Turn number 1, turn number 2. Comes across the start finish line. It's 3 out of 3 for Philip Pushka. Makes it 3 race wins in a row. And takes a well-deserved win at the Belgian circuit here in the GPVWC. Erasmus Uli will come round the bus stop chicane now. Once more himself into the breach. He will take a second place. It's not enough to overhaul Feidig, but it gives the Englishman some serious food for thought. David Feidig himself, round Blanchimont himself, former Drivers' Champion, now becomes former Drivers' Championship leader as Pushka will overhaul him as he comes round the bus stop chicane. And the fight is well and truly on for the Englishman now if he wants to catch the German and reclaim the title he won 2 years ago. Third place, though, very respectable for David Feidig. Daniel Brewer will round the bus stop himself. We'll get a very, very respectable 4th place and a great result for Brewer. Columbus will come home in P5 for Vardbo, then Gagzala 6th for Storm Racing Team. Tom Parker and Roy Shorten finished in 11th and 10th respectively. Fran Lopez, a disappointing 12th, all things considered. He probably deserved a lot better, but mistakes hampered him at the end of that race there. Dawei Tapa has come home 13th, all things considered, a decent result. Adrian Red Norton set for 14th, and Redshaw, Lewis Redshaw will cross in 15th. Florian Gaia set 7th. Benefield set to be 8th. Francesco only set to be 9th, and that rounds that out.
It'll be
What
definitely
a race.
What a race, and it will definitely be a good day for Feidig. He may have lost championship lead, but he still has gotten his first podium since Austria, so I think he'll be quite happy to get that 3rd place and be on the podium again. But he will be attempting to win more races later, I would assume so.
Will do. And I mean, it has to do duties for Chris Williamson. He's having race win problems. He's having connection problems.
Oh dear.
Well, I get to congratulate the winning driver at the end of the race for once. There you go.
Well, that is definitely someone has to. I
get given a job for a change. I get an RD job. There you go. That's the closest I'm going to get to RDing. Well,
that was a crazy race to say the very least. Started off quite a bit crazy with that triple contact at the very beginning. To be honest, the drivers I kind of feel for are Lewis Redshaw and Fran Lopez, who, well, Redshaw, not of his own fault, has lost essentially a fight for a podium, while Fran Lopez just making those mistakes and also losing a fight for possibly even the podium.
Yeah, it is most certainly been an interesting race, and the race have changed because the Drivers' Championship has been changed up now because of all this.
They're still very close, aren't they?
It's still close coming into the season break, but, well, what a way to go into the season break.
Oh, yeah. So that will mean that Arrows, if I'm seeing correctly, he's going to be only 5 points behind Pushka.
Hey, there's not much in it anymore, is there?
No, and there's going to be 2 points between Pushka and Feidig.
Yeah, this is really only a couple of points.
No, so anything can change next race. For all we know, out of the next race, we could see Mashuli in front.
Yeah.
Since he will only be 7 points behind the leader.
Yeah, there really is not much in this anymore.
No, it's very, very fascinating, to say the very least.
Yeah. Well, with that, I think it's about time we move on to interviews, and we are going to start the interview soon. But yeah, Ben, what was your thoughts on that race?
It was a good little race, I thought. There was obviously it was all sort of done and dusted with the lead quite near the start. You know, as soon as Pushka got past Musculi, he walked away with it, to be honest. But no, some great little battles in the midfield, and we had a few big crashes as well. But no, definitely a good little race.
Indeed, and speaking of good little races, this person had a good little race, none other than third place, David Feidig.
Evening, guys.
Well, David, I don't mean to put a downer on your race, but as an ex-championship leader now, a third place might have not been what you wanted. You do now drop the championship lead to Philip Pushka with that, but a third place, a very solid result.
Yeah, thanks.
I had to.
You promised yesterday you'd be nice.
I know, I'm trying to be nice. I could have said something different.
No, that's cool. Yeah, there's quite a few ways of looking at the race. I mean, quali was good. Had my personal best by a few tenths. Usually in quali I struggle, so it's nice to improve. Race start was poor again. Could have been passed by a couple. Lucky I didn't, because looking in the mirror there was a crash behind me. So got through and was just the pace at the start of the stints as usual was good. I could keep with the top guys, but then lap 6, 7, 8, the pace would just drop a few tenths a lap each lap, so it's harder to hang on to them. But saying that, in the second stint, somehow I managed to go longer than anyone, so we've obviously improved somewhere. It's just trying to keep that pace consistently through the stint. Losing the championship lead, we're going to have to find that pace somehow very quickly. We've got the summer break to do that now, but I don't know what to make of that. It's a quiet race. The only battle I did have was with Lewis, and he disconnected a lap after he passed me, and after that it was just keeping the gap to the guys behind and bringing the car home.
Well, as you rightly say, it is all about the championship standings after the summer break. You've got a whole month now to recuperate, regroup, reform, and hopefully go for the championship title number 2. It would be a 2-year break since your last in 2014, but how important is the summer break to a driver like you in Superleague?
Well, for me right now, very important. Like I say, we've got a lot of work to do. Pace-wise, we're fine, but it's just a consistency, trying to get the life out of these tyres through the whole stint, not just a quarter of it or half of it. Second stint was fine, don't get why. It was fairly easy to keep my pace every lap, but the first stints are what kill me. But yeah, it's really important for me right now to regroup. For someone like Philip, I guess he's over the moon. He gets to have a few weeks off whilst leading the title. But yeah, considering the struggles we've had so far this season, P2 in the title going into the summer break, I can be happy, I guess. So yeah, a lot of work to do.
Yeah, a bit of work to do, but nonetheless, work that you can most likely do. And well done to you, David Feidick, for a fantastic race indeed. We're now going to drag your own teammate into the room. Actually, we say hello to Mr. Florian Gaia.
Hello.
Now, you actually got the fastest lap of the race in all this, so well done on that front for starters.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter to me. What really made my afternoon was turn 1 on lap 1. Someone decided it was good to push a few cars wide and into the wall and get me damage, so the race was over from that point on. I think pace-wise I could have challenged for the podium at least, if not for more. I lost a good minute due to damage and the first lap itself, so yeah, not much to say. I think it's pretty frustrating today.
Yeah, but it did seem like a pretty frustrating race for you. I mean, we all have those races now and again. Obviously, the disciplinary committee will be looking at the incidents that have happened this race and obviously protests that are made by the drivers. And, the summer break comes for you now, Florian. So maybe it's just going to be a case of getting this one out of your mind and preparing yourself to restart in a month's time.
Well, qualifying went pretty well, to be honest. So we even had a bit more pace. So who knows, could have been pole if we got it all together. The break's coming up now. Not really, I don't know, not really looking forward to driving right now for Monza. Maybe changes in the next few weeks when we see.
Yeah, I mean, give it a little bit of time off, and you might begin to enjoy it and look forward to the race again. Unfortunately, it didn't go as well if you like this race. Unfortunately, sorry to hear that, Flo, but I guess all you can do is look forward to the next race at Monza after the summer break. And, well, we're now going to go to our final interview now, and that is with Mr. Daniel Benefield.
Hello, hello.
Hello indeed. So, nice little race from you there.
The channel was edited.
Yeah, it was interesting considering I conveniently got hit on the formation lap.
Wow,
So
yeah.
I had to start from pit lane, and
We wondered why you'd gone into the pits.
Yes, yes. I won't mention names, but I got hit on the formation lap, which damaged my rear suspension. So I had to. I asked on the guys and the team, and they said, and I said, wheels left hand down about 20 degrees, like, yeah, pit it, or like escape and start from the pits. And then later on, Dan Brewer spun me around, and he's said sorry and everything. So, I mean, he just had so much more pace since he had just pitted for new tyres, and I was still on the tyres I'd started the race on, and it's just the difference in tyres, really. But I still managed to somehow come back to finish P8.
Well, that is a very impressive P8, all things considered, I think. And it's good to see people apologising when incidents occur. It's just the sort of thing we want to see here at GPVWC, a nice sporting atmosphere. And it saves a protest sometimes, doesn't it? You know, if you can sort it out by other means. And that is going to obviously make it less stressful going into the summer break for you, which I'm sure will be a welcome gift when you can come back out in a month's time refreshed for Monza.
Yeah, looking forward to Monza, actually. It's a lot less, well, it's a power track, really, and with the Valiant, it's, well, it's got a lot of power, so hopefully we'll do well there, but, I mean, that's not until the start of September, so I'm not really worried about Monza yet.
Yeah, well, it's not one of the things you have to worry about, is it? You know, you can just get it out of your mind, get it out of your system for a month, enjoy yourself, prepare yourself for the restart, and, well, get back in the groove. Fantastic to have you with me, Daniel, as ever, and well done on your P8 again.
Thanks, guys.
And that rounds out the interview. So then, just before we wrap this broadcast up, Kacper, Ben, thoughts on the race?
The race, it was pretty alright. There were some very slow parts, some quite interesting battles. I think some mistakes by teams before the race, as I've said before. But generally, I think it was a good race and quite interesting in quite a few parts.
Yes, indeed. And well, at this point, I'd say that you can look forward to more racing in GPVWC, but that's it for a month, unfortunately. We're going to take our summer break now, and we won't be back until September. So that is a bit of a disappointment for those who like racing, but don't worry, because behind the scenes, we'll have a lot of stuff going on. We have a bit of a media drive going at the moment, actually. Watch this YouTube channel for interesting little videos if you would like to see what goes on in races, some highlights and pole laps potentially on the way. And in a month's time, on the 22nd of September, we will return with racing action with the International Touring Cup, the calendar, mod, and all the team announcements yet to be decided for that. But I'm sure when we have that season ready to go, it will be a crack of the season. I'm hoping to be involved in that in some capacity, be it as a driver or broadcaster. So you can hopefully see me in that. And of course, 3 days later, on the 25th of, actually it's August, not September, pardon me. 22nd of August is the ITC race, and the 25th of August is the first race of the all-new for 2016 Community's Choice Championship, which will be decided in a vote by the community what cars we drive. And, well, that's going to be interesting. The first truly community-driven series in GPVWC history. That will be something to witness. And then on the 30th and 31st of August and the 1st of September, we return to the career ladder for the Italian Grand Prix from Monza. But until that day and for a month's time, I've been Josh Randerson. My co-commentator has been Kacper Kolodziejczyk. My cameraman's been Ben Willis, and you've been my audience. And until then, we see you in ITC. Until that time, it's goodbye from everybody here at Spa.